What is up, YouTube? My Cowboys family here, bringing you guys the latest update, of course, on our very own Dallas Cowboys. And as always, thank you so much for taking time out of your day, your night, your whatever time zone you're in to come and hang with us here.
Hell yeah.
Of course, on your way in, like we said, take a second, hit like, sub it up, hit that notification bell, follow us anywhere and everywhere on all social media, and of course, hop in the Discord, links down below in the description box. And as we get rolling here tonight, guys, there's obviously some people we have to give the love and the appreciation to here on the MCF side of things, although in this particular case, just one person.
Yeah.
The man who is the sponsor of the week and the Cash App King all at once. You know why he's here. Snug X. Thank you so much. Appreciate you, Snug.
I mean, in a battle last week, what a battle to him, Mr. Mark Hosepian, who, by the way, has 100 points on that stream, boss.
Fully powered up.
Hawaii Mark, much love to him. Snug X, of course, holding it down. Breaking that big streak by Mark to take over the sponsor of the week. So appreciate Snug X. He's, of course, like you said, the Cash App King as well. He's the sponsor of the week. Cash App King Snug X. Now, no one's in that Cash App as we speak right now. So, no, it's empty. We don't know who's going to win this week. Will it be Snug X back-to-back? Will it be someone taken? Will Jason Renfro come back? I don't know. But over on the board above us here for that sponsor of the week, we close that out every Sunday. Started off a new one on Monday or Tuesday. Mark Hosepian is currently, after one night here in MCF, in the lead, in first place, and Snug X in second place in a battle. Maybe it's restarting. We'll see. I don't know. Either way, those are the guys running the show, and I appreciate both you guys, Snug X, Mark Hosepian, and everybody else in the chat here tonight. Hopefully we get the memberships and this super chat stuff back by the beginning of May-ish. That's the hope here, YouTube. Hear us out.
Fingers crossed.
But in the meantime, baby, there's ways you guys can still help the channel out, even without the memberships, even without the super chats. There's four ways to help out the channel.
Yes.
All those, baby.
You do have the Cash App, money sign My Cowboys Family, the Venmo at My-Cowboys-Family, our regular PayPal link, and of course the Streamlabs link that lets you, your drop show up right here on screen, takes down Mark Hosepian's stream, boss.
Yeah. And as you've seen, Mark puts back on that,
yes.
on that,
or
on that
adds
as well.
Back up to it
goes
if
both
you are
ways.
Mark.
Yeah, so appreciate everybody who's dropped the love so far this week. Much love, special love to Voodoo Alpha. Frame Rippers, man. He's helping out the family once again. Another computer getting got over there from the man. So appreciate him. I should be putting like a special bonus, shout out to him. But we'll definitely, obviously we're shouting out Frame Rippers. Get your computer stuff from him.
Of course.
If you're out there looking.
Much love, Voodoo.
Yeah, check him out on Frame Rippers as well on Instagram and all social media. So as we continue this thing here, we got people in the chat to shout out tonight before we get rolling on the news, info, and updates. And yes, tonight we actually have some news, info, and updates on our Dallas Cowboys. CeeDee Lamb, Terrence Steele, draft, and a lot of other stuff going on our Cowboys, new and old. We'll discuss it here tonight. So who's in the house tonight, baby?
Let me see. We have Frame Rippers, a.k.a. Voodoo Alpha. And no, we actually keep that picture up there for nostalgic reasons. So we like seeing Little G and Little J when they were still Little G and Little J and not
the birth of the channel.
Big G
right?
and Big J.
That was the birth of the channel. So we always keep it old school.
So Rolando Rodriguez, much love to you all the way from South Texas. Cameron, hello and hi. Yeah, hopefully CeeDee Lamb does stick around for a while.
We'll talk about that.
Bruce got the toxic juice. What's up? Texas Twister in the house. Stay safe out there on the road.
Yeah.
We have Mike Aldana representing. Much love to you. And of course, we are only just kicking things off here. Skeptical fan, always staying skeptical. So people are still, rolling in.
Yeah, we're getting in here. Let's kick it off. Let's go because we got a lot of stuff to talk about. We have a lot of stuff
to touch, and I'm sure we're going to be circling back on one or two points,
of course,
like the CeeDee Lamb one. But baby, let's go ahead and kind of touch on some of the other.
Yeah, let me lay out the land on all sports and the NFL, of course. So let me start. Of course, NBA playoffs going right now. I just wanted to bring this up because in the playoffs some years ago, I remember this. I know it puts me old, but 37 years ago today, second year superstar, you can say, Michael Jordan. At the time, he wasn't necessarily as big as he is now, but Michael Jordan, second year, in the playoffs against the Boston Celtics, the most points ever scored in that old arena, 63 points by Michael Jordan against the Boston Celtics in the playoffs in overtime. That's the year Michael Jordan broke his ankle, broke his foot, his leg, but then he came back at the end of the year, and even though they got knocked out in the series against Boston and lost that game, Michael Jordan just showed something that he really put himself on the map in that game. In fact, the great Larry Bird even said, quote, "That wasn't Michael Jordan out there on the basketball court. That was God. disguised as Michael Jordan. So again, you can see the rep really started gaining at that point. In the end of his second year for Michael Jordan, I got to bring it up. Why? Because he's the best basketball player in NBA history. Facts. And that was my favorite player. In basketball just my own favorite. I do remember that game. And that was before he had won any championships. Remember that. Now, maybe a little drive for this year of our Cowboys. No championships, you can still pull through. We'll see. We got to overcome a lot, right? Now, old school Cowboys. All right, Don McHenry. I don't know how to say his name. He was the first Cowboy to score a touchdown for this organization in its history. Scored the first Cowboys rushing touchdown. Died at 88 years old. Unfortunately, guys, he was on the inaugural Cowboys 1960s team. He died again. 1960. He was on this team. He finished second on the team in rushing yards. Only 321 rushing yards. Shows you how much. Even in a running league, we were doing crappy running the ball back then. Yeah. Second on the team.
Yeah, everybody starts somewhere, right?
Yeah, he played 6 years. I think almost two of them. He had 14 games, I think, total in combination with the Cowboys. But again, he finished his career, I think, San Francisco in the end of '61. So he didn't do much. He played with Detroit, Green Bay, the 49ers, the Cowboys. It started in '56. His career, of course, ended in '61 with the Niners. But he played a year and a half with us or so and scored the first rushing touchdown. Just wanted to say that. He passed away, unfortunately. Now, he died at 88 years old, but in number 88, Michael Irvin, the playmaker, he's got in his own situation here with that whole thing with Marriott. Remember, guys, of course? He's been suspended from NFL Network. And now, again, last year he was front and center at this NFL draft coverage for NFL Network. This year, he is still suspended. He remains suspended by NFL Network. He will not take part in any of the NFL Network draft coverage. So again, another hit for Michael Irvin. He might be looking for damages if this thing goes his way.
I sure as shit would be. But,
me too. But look, they're gonna hold him out until they know which way it falls. Right? That's what they. I guess as a company they can do that. Now, going on another former Cowboy. How about number 9, Tony Romo? He actually spoke today about criticism about his broadcasts in 2022, the way he broke things down sometimes. He said, quote, "That's normal. That happens to anyone. Anytime you're doing something well, there's always going to be that. It's just the archetype of someone's career. It's just happened to me a few times before, and that's a good thing." So Romo's got a positive spin. He also compared his co-anchor there, his co-host, Jim Nantz, broadcast partner, kind of compared him as a dad-brother kind of guy. He said, quote, "He's just one of the rare guys. He's got integrity, compassion, he's honest. He loves sports. He connects. I enjoy hanging out with him and look forward to the season of calling NFL football games." So again, we're going to see more Romo. There's a lot of criticism going his way, but he said I can deal with that. Now, I promise you guys I'll give you an update on YouTube and the NFL Sunday Ticket. Some people are interested about that.
Obviously the last update that we heard is this is where they're transitioning to, and there's some kind of promotional offers.
It's
if
like
you do it for a certain
off
time or whatever.
For June 6th, if you get the YouTube Sunday Ticket in Red Zone, it's $3.90. I think it's $3.89, and I think it's $40 cheaper without the Red Zone. That's the way it is. Now, the cost we knew already, but it was more about how many TVs can you watch it? Can you share it with household members outside of the household? And YouTube knows people are going to do that, so you can share, if you have regular YouTube, just normal YouTube, you can share it with one other screen. So literally they know you can be passing it on to another family member. So again, if you got 2 people, it's $200 a piece. Just saying. That's what it comes out to if you get the early bird special before June 6th. And that's if you have YouTube Premium, right? Is that what it's called? Not Premium. No, YouTube
TV.
YouTube TV. I'm sorry. If you have YouTube TV, it's a lot cheaper. It's like $100 cheaper than that already. It's like $200 off the original price. But the important part of that is they give you 3 screens. And I think 2 more you get with the YouTube TV account. So you got like 5 screens with that one.
So what you're saying is I need to find someone with YouTube TV.
And then split it 5 ways.
Split it 5 ways.
Exactly.
Got it.
Just want to let you guys know, though, YouTube knows people are going to do it. So get your friends together, co-workers, and figure it out. If you guys want to get the Red Zone with every NFL game that's not on your local television for the entire season. Just saying. That's what we do.
If you want to sail the 7 seas, though, we won't say anything.
Now, NFL news. Now we're going towards the NFL and more of the general stuff. We said a couple old school Cowboy players, talked about them, and some more current old school ones like Romo. But the Cardinals, my brother, Dr. G, not very happy today when the Cardinals literally changed their uniforms. Again, they changed their name from Phoenix to Arizona. They moved from St. Louis, from Chicago. I'm just saying they went all around the Cardinals. The Cardinals now are of course, still Arizona Cardinals, but their uniforms are different. They released them today. My brother is pissed. And if you look what they look like 1920s shirts. When you look at the jerseys, like just hanging there, they look like you're wearing from 1920s. I'm just saying, it looks ugly as hell. It looks like the Chicago Cardinals, I guess. My brother hates it, and he's now got to buy a whole new wardrobe of clothing. Anyways, NFL, more to the NFL kind of side of things, the turf. Remember some issues last year with turf here and there. NFL Players Association president, former center for the Browns, J.C. Treader, specifically cited the Carolina Panthers turf condition during the Christmas Eve game against the Detroit Lions, and when it came to renewing the call for grass fields across the NFL. He said last year the NFL touted data to push the narrative that turf was just as safe as grass.
And I remember that. Yeah,
the NFL said it's no real difference, but according to J.C. Treader, and he said this, he goes, "This is proof the data they used was an outlier." I mean, it's more on the outs. It's not really a mainstream situation.
Yeah, it's the exception, not the rule.
There you go. And again, it highlights the lack of credibility of the NFL when they say things like this, and their gap on health and safety, and why players are right to call for safer surfaces. So the players are still going to push for grass fields because they feel overall science is showing that it is safer, even though the NFL is saying no, it's not. And the NFL players are now citing specific games where it was not, where the field, the turf was detrimental to the health of players.
Now, 2 quick points I'll make there. One, makes no sense to me from like a business perspective. If the fields are causing injuries to, these valuable people that you can't just replace one off like the same way they can replace turf on a field, why wouldn't businesses want to have, a safer situation? And 2, even if, let's say, everything is equal, and the NFL is right, let's say they are, do players believe it? Because if you're going out there mentally thinking that you can get more hurt playing on this type of turf or whatever it is, like,
I agree.
You can't tell me that doesn't have some kind of effect.
In the back of
honestly,
their heads,
I
maybe.
am a little more willing to believe the players on this just because they're the ones who have spent their entire freaking careers playing on turf and grass, respectively. They know how their bodies feel and respond to, and I've never heard any athlete ever say they preferred turf over grass.
Very
the few times they would just say is that, obviously grass has its own challenges and things like that, and nobody wants to end up with grass in their freaking face, but I mean, I'm just trying to throw that out there.
I know what you mean, and I do agree almost in everything there. I do think that I trust the players on this one because, like you said, they're the ones getting up the next day feeling more sore off of turf compared to grass, and I mean, is it that big of a deal to tend to grass over turf? I know it might cost a little money for the owners to have to switch to grass, but like you said, you're protecting $1 million players.
Yeah,
that's more important than grass.
Grass is worth, those.
Speaking of grass,
millions
420
and millions of investments.
Happy 420 of those out there. But anyways, the grass is safer than turf. Let's just keep it at that. Stay on the grass. NFL also right now is reviewing it's an informal review right now of the Josh Harris bid for the Washington Commanders team, and revealed only, quote, minor issues. So there are some minor issues, but it doesn't seem like it's going to stop this transition when it comes to the Commanders.
Basically, a few little things have to be tweaked.
Yeah, it sounds like Josh Harris with the Magic Johnson. He's part of the group there. It looks like they're going to corral this Washington Commander team and buy it from Daniel Snyder. And NFL has to approve it. That's the kind of update on that. And then I do want to say one thing: the Eagles. Now we're going to the other teams, not the Cowboys yet. Move F the Eagles, but it's official. The Eagles officially are. It feels like they're doing a little bit of the McCarthy mindset, hiring a lot of head coaches or former head coaches as position coaches or coordinators, because the Eagles have hired former Patriots assistant coach, former Detroit Lions head coach Matt Patricia as their new senior defensive assistant. So he's an assistant helping the coordinator. Which, again, I don't think it's the worst thing. A lot of people are laughing at it. I don't think he's necessarily a bad coach, but maybe Belichick is what made him. I don't know. The point is, here's the bigger thing. Darius Slay from the Eagles used to be in Detroit when Patricia was there in Detroit as the head coach. And he, back then, ripped Patricia a new one after the post-trade interview. When he was traded, I think, from the Lions to the Eagles. He let it known about how he felt about Matt Patricia. Now they're both in the same team here again. Patricia's coaching him on defense. So Slay doesn't have much respect, according to him, about his former head coach. And he
it's going to be an interesting dynamic.
Yeah, I mean, he was pissed about seeing Quandre Diggs traded halfway through the 2019 season. And he said things were in bad shape before that. He said, quote, at the time, I didn't really care. Shoot, I didn't have that much respect for Matty P as a person. It was hard for me to play for him. That was all. And that's all that was. And he said the example he said was a lot of disrespect he felt that the coach was putting towards his offseason workout and regiment. And when he spent time with Richard Sherman, Aqib Talib, and others, that was Patricia's knock on Slay. Slay said that when it came to Matt Patricia,
what the heck was he doing that was so?
I don't know. Slay said, quote, "Our first year was extremely rough. Second year was good. Second year was no problem. But our first year, it really destroyed our whole kind of relationship."
Honestly, this feels like just one of those classic cases where, again, do you meet someone and through nothing really specific happens. Just something happens where, you don't like them, they don't like you, the feeling is mutual, no one likes each other, and you're just kind of like, let's agree to
It's interesting the Eagles
not like each other.
I wonder if the Eagles asked Darius Slay if this is cool or if this is going to be a problem. Because, and obviously, same thing for Patricia going on, taking coaching Slay.
They're not going to ask Slay if they're cool. They're going to turn around and say, Slay, hey, this is how it is. Good luck.
I'm not saying that to get approval from him, but at least say, okay, we know you had some issues, but letting you know we're bringing him in. How do you feel about this? At least, knowing
front offices, he probably found out on Twitter like everybody else.
So
just
NFL player stuff. Again, there's a lot of quarterbacks about to be drafted in this draft. High end, 3 quarterbacks, 4 quarterbacks in the first round. The Niners. We know they have that guy Trey Lance. I actually like a lot as maybe a future prospect or something like this. But again, they were letting him. They got to let him go because they got Purdy, and they're going to go that route rather than this ultra high first round pick that they had here from who was injured last year, the first game.
Although isn't Purdy out for
Yeah, he's still out. He's
season,
still
right?
Well, no. He's not for this upcoming season. No, I don't think so.
Okay.
But it could be something that could be an issue going forward.
But the point is, they're putting their eggs in that basket.
In the Purdy basket there. So
Purdy basket.
In the Mr. Irrelevant Purdy basket. But again, the Niners have said there's several teams have inquired for a potential trade for the former number 3 overall pick for Trey Lance.
They're kind of in a good spot. When you think about
it. They got Purdy. They got picks all over. Look, there's conversation right now that they are not asking. They're not out there saying who wants to make a trade for Trey Lance. Teams are saying, hey, we want to trade for him. And they're offering. So they're not saying they're going to do anything. They're just saying that other teams are offering a lot of trades possibilities here for him. And they know that, San Francisco's saying they're not fielding these calls. They're not making these calls. They are, they're fielding them because other teams are calling. Let me put it that way. But they are not making these calls or trying to trade Trey Lance outright right now. But they made it clear they're going to stick with Brock Purdy as their starter going forward. So just wanted to clarify NFL. Any quick comments on that as I take a little water break here? Oh, man. Thirsty.
Not about that, but real quick, rolling back a little bit there, just because I had made the comment in the chat that I'm not sure if Irving's reputation is going to recover, the more that the situation drags on.
Gotta give Mike,
I threw out there. 88 needs to start his own podcast or just go independent with some sports talk, basically. Honestly, I'm surprised no Cowboy people haven't started their own kind of Cowboy-centered media company. You know why? Probably because they don't want to fight Jerry. If there's any kind of Cowboy-based media, it's coming from inside the house, at least in Jerry world.
Yeah, but Steve, Michael Irvin has the right to do that on his own. Whether Jerry Jones, he wants to talk about the Cowboys, he's doing it on NFL Network. He can do it on his own channel,
exactly,
on YouTube, like us.
Mark Hosepian, mahalo to you.
In the
What's
house,
up?
Hawaii Mark, he's got the 100 points up there.
Rolling back real quick, Bruce got the toxic juice. He said, Matt Patricia as a defensive coordinator is better than him as a head coach, but his defenses have been figured out before.
Exactly. And he's got a guy in there in Slay that doesn't really respect him in reality. I mean, they might get along. They have to, but
I still, every time anyone mentions Matt Patricia, all I can think of is him backtracking on that job offer. I don't know why that sticks out so much.
All I can think about is him, and he looks like the guy Marty. Is it Marty or from Stranger Things? So, anyways, I don't know if that's his name.
I know what you mean. So let me see. Giacomo Fisher, hello. What's up? We got Snug X in the house. You know why he's here.
The champ this week. Him and Mark Hosepian. What a battle. Literally for the ages. And I want to let them both know on that stream on Sunday, that was a record breaker. I'm pretty sure that's the number one of all of our streams we've ever had on this channel. So you guys made it an extraordinary night in a very neat, a very dark year so far for this channel. So yes. You guys really kept us going here. I appreciate you guys truly from the bottom of our hearts. The battle was unbelievable. One for the ages for sure. So as we turn now, I talked about some former Cowboys and some other stuff, not anything current for the Cowboys. Now I talked about the NFL, current stuff, and now we're going to turn to the Cowboys, a couple points. a couple big pieces of news, I guess you can say, of the day, and then we're going to turn to the draft to finish this thing off. So let's get going. The Cowboys, as we said earlier in this week, Monday started officially. Tuesday we discussed it. We discussed it here really quickly. The Cowboys officially began the 2023 offseason workout program. The OTAs officially kicked off on Monday. Keep that in mind, guys. These OTAs began, but no, they can't do anything for another 10 days. Literally, they really can't get hands-on. Right? Coaches, like I said, cannot be here except for strength and conditioning guys. If you're a new coach, you can meet your players a little earlier. A new position coach, you can meet your guys. But these players are on working with the strength and conditioning coaches to try to acclimate back to the NFL, back to the OTAs, and then from there you go slowly throughout the months until you get to the mandatory OTAs, and then you get mandatory mini camp, and then you get to the training camp. So, just so you guys know, 10 days or so, Cowboys coaches and players could be on the field talking again. But for the Cowboys, beginning their actual on-the-field hitting, and I say hitting, it's going to be shells and shorts. Not going to be any real hitting, but the true running through the installation of the offense and defense and all that stuff on the schemes and game plans is going to begin. I think the organized official OTAs start May 22nd. Rookie minicamp is right after the draft, May 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th. Or May 12th, 13th, 14th, and 15th. Actually, the Cowboys have not said yet. So it's either that week of May 5th or the week of May 12th. Right. And the exact dates have not been announced yet. But this portion of the off-season program, remember, it's voluntary for all the players. And again, remember, with the way the Cowboys do it, one of the good things I can say about the front office contract moves from Stephen Jones is that they all have de-escalators, not escalators. So, like the Packers are a very known team. That if Rodgers goes on his ayahuasca expeditions, he loses out on $1 million or $500,000, whatever. He don't care. He just doesn't get that added. A de-escalator, they actually take it off of your paychecks. So if Dak don't come in, which he comes in with either way, but let's say he didn't come in,
you have to pay for that.
Yeah, he doesn't lose. He doesn't not get new money. He has to get rid of some of his money, which has always been known and shown psychologically that players will almost always go in and not want to lose that money rather than go in for the extra money.
That's why the Aldi quarter trick still works. They make you pay a quarter to use their cart. It's like, why do most people return the cart? Because they want their quarterback. Now the quarterback worth all that much, especially not in these 2023 times, but it's still, that's your money. You're not just going to leave your money out there on the street for anyone who just grab.
So again, and now as you're seeing these guys coming back, getting into the OTAs, working themselves back to acclimation on getting back to the football mindset of working out on the field with the coaches. As they get acclimated to that, these guys are still working. You guys seen Dak Prescott working with the offense and the receivers, right? In the Dak yard. You've seen, Micah Parsons running around, doing all these exercises, almost like a wide receiver / running back, And then if you look closer, you'll see Micah Parsons doing some crazy-ass jiu-jitsu out there. Yeah, jiu-jitsu with one of the best teams of jiu-jitsu in the world. I think this is a Peru or Chile here. I'm not sure. But either way, guys, he's with Anthony La Puma, Nicky Rod. I'm just saying these people here are the best of the best when it comes to some of this jiu-jitsu. And it just looks like Micah is like fully involved in getting himself just ripped in every single way. I mean, he's starting to use jiu-jitsu moves on the goddamn football field. It's get ready for that. He's going to start throwing people like he was throwing that Niners, what was it, McClunkin or whatever his name was. He just threw him to the side.
Not surprising
One-armed.
With the
Reggie Whited
crossover
him.
with things like jiu-jitsu and wrestling and just those types of grappling martial arts that
Very
help
important.
improve your football skills in a lot of ways, or translates really well on the football side of things. But honestly, it just feels like Micah Parsons, like, I'm going to wait for one day. He's like, oh, he's driving a hot air balloon. He's, I don't know, riding an alligator in a pond. Like,
he's just doing everything.
He just kind of does so many things. I love him. He's fun.
Now, Micah, you see him putting in work on there. We're not nothing really to talk about Micah today. We talked about him so much, but again, just she's putting in work in all of the different fields of exercise and training here in the offseason. So we know he's ready to roll. Now, CeeDee Lamb. It's funny because Micah did some of the CeeDee Lamb workouts, it looked like a couple of weeks ago. We talked about that. But CeeDee Lamb today, the news of the day, we know the Cowboys are looking to extend him. But today the Cowboys exercised officially their 5th-year option on a first rounder. Only first rounders are allowed to be kept on almost instead of a tag in that 5th year of their contract, which again, they get the estimates of the top 5 receivers and put them together, and that's what you can get paid, more or less, the average of that. So the Cowboys used that 5th-year option today, is that really a surprise? No. The Cowboys used the 5th-year option for 2024. Not for this year. He's already in for this year. For next year, he's now going to be here. We knew this was going to happen. But you see how Trayvon Diggs, he doesn't have that 5th-year option because he was a second-round pick. So
when we have a lot of the discussions, especially with the draft literally a week away now.
Yep.
And we've talked so much about trading down, never trading up.
Trading out of the first is
but
the point.
This is one of the factors that I think, to me, more than anything else, is the biggest factor.
For the Joneses,
is it worth it to trade down and possibly lose out on that 5th-year option, when contractually speaking, we're probably more or less going to get a similar player at 26, let's say, than at 36, just to throw a random number out there, right? Mm-hmm. Is it worth it? So I imagine, especially as we, have so many players up due for contract and so many boxes to check, it is kind of nice that we're able to use this option with CeeDee Lamb. Agreed. And I already saw some people saying like, oh, but we should extend him, but I don't understand. That just makes more sense. So, I know you actually were talking about that behind the scenes.
Yeah, it's a little, we all agree we want to extend them. We don't want to just take that 5th-year option. It feels to some people that the initial thought process for some out there, unfortunately, are the knee-jerk reaction of saying, wait, that means we're not going to extend them? This is stupid. Now, there's a reason why that's done. Now, let me just say something. First and foremost, guys, the 5th-year option for CeeDee Lamb, 2 Pro Bowl selections with all these things factored in, because they factor in Pro Bowls and all that stuff. In 2024, CeeDee Lamb's going to make $17.99 million. This is rounded up to $18 million is what he's going to get. But the Cowboys still want to get him to an extension. Let's understand this. So we want to still extend them because the Cowboys obviously want to keep him here than just more than a 5th year and then gone in his 6th. So
we're trying to put a ring on it,
If you know how things go when it comes to contracts, and we here do, this is just procedural. People flipped out. Some people then realized what they flipped out about and then fixed their comments. But the point is, you got to extend. The Cowboys will always extend the contract extend the 5th-year option. Get the 5th-year option set up before they give the extension. And it's just to lay the baseline terms. The negotiating under these new rules, or not rules, but
one
new,
of the things
new
we've
terms.
seen the last handful of years, too, is pretty much every team folds that 5th-year option into whatever long-term deal. So this, to me, just feels like, all right, checking off the first box in that.
Cowboys see $18 million. That we know it's going to move around. Probably next year it might be a little more. So Cowboys want to try to, we got that marker for next year. It's almost like a tag. $18 million for CeeDee Lamb. But we got to get a deal done with him that would take him forward. Now, we could still get hit in the cap next year for maybe $13 million, $14 million on the cap, or less for CeeDee Lamb, basing it off the $18 million that he would get paid no matter what next year. So if the Cowboys extend him, it will come sometime in the offseason. And you know what? It could be sometime in the regular season this year because it is a contract for next season. So what I'm trying to say is, it's a contract for the end of 2024, basically, an extension. The Cowboys can still make a deal, I think, anytime before the start of the new year when they do get that, or sometime before the start of the new year, they can do it all up to the last moment, guys. It gives both parties more time to plan, make decisions about how this contract looks in the future, because now you can see kind of a little bit of the groundwork there when you do get this 5th-year option involved. And again, it definitely minimizes, I would say, slows down, kind of stalls any kind of maybe avoids some disagreements, some fights during the negotiations. I think that's a big part of just getting this 5th-year option out there. It was known. I wouldn't worry. Everyone's like getting mad. Don't get mad. It is okay. If the Cowboys are still working behind the scenes to extend CeeDee Lamb to a bigger deal, that we know that's happening.
Yeah, I think, and again, I know it's not a 1-1 comparison, but it's similar to signing a player on the tag, but they have until a certain date to finish signing the tag, and until that day, you can technically try to negotiate something more long-term.
The Cowboys had till May 1st to get this 5th-year option implemented, and they got it done today. It's done. So the Cowboys still have the whole offseason, into the season, and before next offseason to get the CeeDee Lamb extension done. The actual extension, not the 5th-year option, but the extension. So the point is this, guys. Getting this 5th-year option is not preventing a long-term deal. Some people think out there, I think that they're getting nervous that, oh my God, now we can't sign them long-term. Irrelevant. No, it's like a tag, a placeholder. So you can sign them long-term. This is just what's going to happen, guys. We can sign them at any point until year 5 kicks off. As soon as that year 5 for him on that field kicks off, we cannot sign him anymore. We have all the way till next September. Just saying, we're
So
good.
We have some time.
We got time.
And to me, at least, I think it's a great thing just because even though CeeDee Lamb had what I consider to be a fantastic year last year, obviously all of us are expecting that star to continue to rise, but we never know what the future holds. So having him just have another season where we have all these offensive weapons and a new offensive scheme, it gives us a bit of a trial run before we decide not just to lock it down in a long-term sense, but, before we put a number to that value of that long-term asset.
Yeah,
long story short, it's going to be good to see CeeDee Lamb under a new offensive scheme and see what kind of numbers he puts up so the Cowboys can value him appropriately.
The quick, fast-paced, I talked about yesterday, CeeDee Lamb fits perfectly into that West Coast offense. So we'll see how that all comes together this year.
Yeah, and I think everyone will be more than happy to pay him what he rightfully deserves.
For sure.
He puts up the numbers that we're expecting out of him.
He, to me, is a number one. He became a number one this year. Any team's number one. CeeDee Lamb's the real deal. I would sign him without question. Now, again, this is like a tag right now for CeeDee Lamb in year 5. That's what it comes down to. That's what it equals to. This never was in question. We knew this was going to happen no matter what happens in the future. We knew this was going to happen. The one that I want to see done is Trayvon Diggs. Because that guy right there, and after this year, he's a free agent. On next March 15th, he's a free agent. So we got to get him signed up. We know Lamb's here till the following year, no matter what happens. So
I feel like we have to go on record almost and say this has been the quietest Cowboy offseason. I think since we've started doing MCF, at least.
On our long-term signings,
Not even that, but even just bringing back some of our own guys or whatever. At this time, there was at least rumors and bullshit and blah, blah, blah. Right now, the only thing we're seeing is silence. And thank you so much, Skeptical.
Skeptical in the house. Kicking it off tonight, yes.
And he said, does the 5th-year option apply to all first-round picks?
Yes, sir.
That is why, like I said, it is a pretty important and critical discussion. It might be a contributing factor to why the Cowboys would rather stay at 26, even if it means not getting something they could possibly get for a decent trade-down deal, because that 5th-year option, from a contractual standpoint, when it comes to signing our own guys, which we love to do, it's too much to just step away from for the Cowboys, even at such a deep pick. So definitely consideration, but again, from first to 30, whatever. You could trade as long as it's in the first round.
From 1 to 32, it's in the first round. It gets the 5th year. The player gets the 5th year option put onto that. That's put in the CBA. It was agreed upon by both players and owners. But the point is that if the Cowboys trade from 26 to 31, we still get that first round option. So it still can stay. We can still drop back at the 3rd or 4th rounder and still stay in the first round if the Cowboys really want and value that much.
Yeah, from 26 to 33, not much of a difference. But that difference from 32 to 33, from a money perspective, does change things.
Right, so that's why Trayvon Diggs, we go from the question Skeptical fan asked there, knocking Mark to 97 points. With that question there, you can see Trayvon Diggs' importance right now. All of a sudden, just that little move, we don't have to worry about CeeDee Lamb anymore. We knew this was going to happen anyways. From the beginning, to me, are we going to sign Trayvon Diggs or not? We're going to see if the Cowboys do that or not. Now, we don't know anything on Trayvon Diggs. We just got the CeeDee Lamb update.
It is still eerily quiet on the Diggs front.
So we'll see what happens. But we also heard from Terrence Steele. Terrence Steele, right tackle, or now left guard or swing tackle. I don't know anymore.
Offensive lineman, Terrence Steele.
Today, him and the Jets defensive edge, Bryce Huff, they both signed their restricted free agent tenders. Let me explain. Terrence Steele signed that RFA tender, which is it was a second round tender. No one met his that tender number, which is $4.3 million. No one offered more than that. Cowboys kept them. Done, easy deal. No one was going to give up a second round pick for Terrence Steele after those ACL
injury, and
MCL tears in his knee. So right now, the deadline for the Cowboys to match any offer he might receive still is the 26th
of April.
Yeah.
Oh.
So it's over. He's given in here is what I'm trying to say. Yeah, he could still sign somewhere else. No one matched it. Again, he signed his restricted free agent tender. There's only a couple of days for any teams to really make any more moves. After that, it's over. It's done. He left himself a very little window to be signed by anyone anyway. So
look, let's be honest. His injury kind of changed everything. Had he been healthy, we'd be having a very different conversation. Right now.
I think we'd be extending him. So, but he's not healthy, and we got to wait one more year, I think, before anything happens.
Contractually speaking, this is one of the ways the Cowboys are at least hedging their bets.
And don't forget, another reason why, a name that I keep speaking upon, Darnell Wright, Tennessee, right tackle, dominant right tackle, and a very good left guard. Cowboys like him. We're going to talk about him a little later because that's going to be our first round focus tonight. So Terrence Steele signed this thing. Again, on the books, on the salary cap, $4.3 million officially. The last time we heard from Stephen Jones, he was ahead of schedule on that rehab of that torn ACL, MCL, that knee surgery, working back from that torn ACL, MCL currently. So, again, he's still on that way up. Speaking of injuries, I want to slide into the draft here. So before I get into the draft, because now we're on our final tumble here, guys. Get your last words in. Get your last thoughts in. But
drafting time.
Yeah, but we're going to talk a little NFL draft here as we set it up with Terrence Steele, CeeDee Lamb. Let us know what you're thinking. Any comments or thoughts on this as we're ready to...
Of course, Bruce got the toxic juice throwing out there. Most years of Cowboy off seasons, they be throwing players under the bus. So, and that's why I said, I'm like, I feel it was not that long ago that Tank was like publicly going back and forth with the Cowboys until like a week before the draft. Like literally this time 3 years ago was when DeMarcus Lawrence finally said, all right, fine.
This time last year, almost, it was going through the same thing about, now the Joneses were kind of dragging him a little bit and saying, we're going to cut you. And then he took the $10 million restructure. But
in his defense, though, he kept off social media and was not as vocal during that situation.
Very good point. Very good point.
All I'm trying to say is that when you're getting paid, and especially those big first contracts, they do tend to not just garner more attention, but tend to get a little bit more talk, a little more hype, more something. So it is a little bit surprising that we have not heard a single word on the Trayvon Diggs front. Have we seen him this offseason outside of him? I think
I saw him at a party with CeeDee Lamb. We saw him around getting a tattoo. But, as far as doing stuff out there, he's working with his brother, Stephon Diggs.
The only thing he's really done is, joke on social media saying, hey, Cowboys, go get my brother.
Yeah, he's also done some working out stuff with Stephon Diggs as well. So
let me see. Jack Como Fisher said Bijan Robinson is an Eagle. I wish you guys the best of luck.
We're gonna get to that and talk about it, because the Eagles are the team that maybe is the only one that might get them outside of the Cowboys, and I hope the Cowboys don't.
Now Stephen White's saying that he'd love to drop down to the 29th.
I would have no problem if that team trading would like to do that. If they have a reason to jump the other teams in front of them for a player that the Cowboys could box out for that team. If that works out, if someone wants Bijan and he gets to the Cowboys, trade that pick down and go get that extra second or third rounder. Yes, that's what you do if you're the Cowboys.
And by the way, Snug, you are, everyone here is irreplaceable. There's no other Snugs out there like that. There's no other Snugs. Skeptical fans out there. Q balls, right? Because Q ball, by the way, he's like, this is the time to extend CeeDee Lamb and Dak Prescott.
If you want to beat if the Cowboys are sure, then the answer is, I'm not talking about me or you or them. Out there in the fandom world, I'm talking about those at the front office. If they are sold on Dak, then they got to do this deal now. If they're not sold on Dak, then they better stick to their guns and be smart.
I've said it. I think they have like 1 foot out the door when it comes to Dak. It's still felt like this the entire time we've had Dak. It feels like the Cowboys have 1 foot out the door, ready to jump at any moment.
It feels like that. By the way, SnugX taking Mark down to 92 points there with some help from Skeptical and Snug. The S's have it. Mark, 92 points on that Tony Tolbert board, as I like to always think. Mark saying I'm putting 3 back on it.
Back to back there. Mark Hosepian, much
with the $3 holler, by the way, back to 95. That's a Jonathan Hankins.
But Snug with his $5 holler said MCW controls my wallet.
Well, we appreciate your love and support, no matter how it is. But we, I know it's about the beautiful things of our channel. Yes. As you can see in our sponsor of the week write up, the Why Snug is here.
But are very beautiful.
But he also loves to also rep that star for everything. Loves the beauty of the channel. So that's what it is.
After Snug's drop and after Mark's $3 drop.
Mark dropped that. Yeah,
back to 95 points.
Mark's
so let me go ahead and read.
He dropped that $3 holler in there to up him 3 points on that stream boss. What did the man Mark Hovsepian have to say?
If we nab an offensive lineman, he has to be better than Connor or Biadish, for that matter. No idea why Biadish made the Pro Bowl. He's worth $7 million a year, not $10 million. Is center that weak that he got a Pro Bowl nod?
Yeah, I guess in the NFL, center is kind of weak right now. I know you keep talking about the offensive line in general in the NFL has kind of
said it before.
Dropped a little bit in skill.
This is one of those drums that I will beat to the death. But the last handful of years specifically, there has been a sharp decline in the quality of offensive linemen in the NFL.
Generally speaking,
and even every year, like this draft, the number of available offensive linemen that teams are like highly interested in signing is super small. So that pool keeps shrinking and shrinking. Meanwhile, offensive line needs just keep growing exponentially to the point where you have teams, where, we have that option now where teams are allowed to call up a 6th offensive lineman and like all this other stuff.
Game
so
day, yeah. Game
on
day
one
roster.
hand, the NFL deeply recognizes the importance of offensive
8th
lines,
offensive lineman.
and then on the other hand, no one seems to actually give a fuck.
In the money jar, baby. You're gonna. YouTube's
cares.
definitely not gonna get us back up on here.
Yes, they are. You are allowed to. I didn't do it in the first few minutes.
Oh, you know how YouTube does, baby.
Look,
Looking for everything.
My point is that they do not care.
They don't. YouTube doesn't care.
For whatever the reason.
YouTube's got us crazy.
Look, nuck if you buck. That's what I said.
That's what you got. I guess we need a description and translation for those older people like myself. Anyways, guys. Wait, you don't know? I know it. I'm just saying.
I'm like, I'll try that song is old enough. You should know it.
Other older people. Not me, just like myself.
Back in my day, Sonny used to knock and buck.
We go off the rails here.
Yes.
As we enter the draft portion, and I'm going to lead off with what Mark is saying, Mark Hopesepian, and we're going to talk about these positions here specifically tonight. I'm going to touch on a couple things real quick, specifically the first round. And at pick 26, I want to focus on that. So, I know receiver is a big talk at that spot for a lot of people as well. Right now, Louisiana Lafayette wide receiver draft prospect Michael Jefferson was hit by a drunken driver, guys, on Easter night. Unfortunately, he was released from the hospital today.
First of all, I'm glad he's okay.
Yeah, he's good, but he's expected to miss this entire season, unfortunately.
So okay being a relative term there.
Yeah, doctor said he will be able to play. He should be able to play in 2024. Obviously, very unfortunate situation there for Michael Jefferson, but we'll see if anybody takes a chance on Jefferson. Somewhere later in the draft, there was an undrafted for next season. I'm sure someone will. I hope
he ends up in a, oh my God, who's that linebacker that we got that was hurt? Daron.
Oh, you mean Damone Clark? Your guy? You're...
So no, I'm just saying, I hope he ends up in a Damone Clark type of situation where he still is drafted, even if it is later in the draft. If someone does take a chance on an injured player that could have a lot of potential.
Yeah.
I used a positive example, not Jalen Smith.
I know the Cowboys will have no issue at all if they like his metrics and all that stuff. They'll pick him up as an undrafted at the very least.
So there. As soon as I said it, Scorpio said it, Damone Clark. So thank you guys.
Yes. So now I want to talk about, so without a receiver there, I'm not talking about much about receiver today. I want to focus about running back, tight end, and offensive line for that first pick. How does McCarthy draft? What's his tendencies, guys? And McCarthy, if you look
I know.
Well, not just for the Cowboys, but for his team in general, right? You look at his team in the first round, 13 years as the head coach for Green Bay. The only defensive players, he's the guys he drafted in the first round. Just some players. Listen to this. Aaron Rodgers, Jordy Nelson, Devontae Adams. The only defensive players in the first round he's taken has been two of them. Two. Clay Matthews, Nick Perry. With the Packers, with the Green Bay Packers. McCarthy's, again, he hasn't been running the show on offense for the Cowboys in his 3 years with the Cowboys. Has he run the offense? It's been Kellen Moore running the offense.
Yeah.
So the last time McCarthy ran an offense and had input in this kind of way with the offensive side of the ball was when? For the 13 years he was involved in the draft. 1 year he was not running things, but the other 12 he was. And in those 12 years, 10 times that first round pick, offensive lineman. All right? And when you look at, you look at the 2 times in 12 years, what are you doing, baby?
Oh, you can't see it. No. It's too bright. Oh, it says tight end.
Okay.
It says TE, but
I'm not saying McCarthy's drafting tight ends.
I know, I didn't say that. I know you weren't saying it. I didn't say it either.
No,
I just
your
wrote
screen
it
said
and showed it.
Listen, the point is, and I know we're heading that way. We'll get there. But I'm focusing on McCarthy, not positions, but on which side of the ball does he draft when he's in charge. And it's 10 times offense, 2 times defense. Just the way it is, guys.
Offensive-minded coach. No
he prefers. He likes the offensive players in the first round. He said before that he believes offensive players have a greater impact on the game. The history on his side of things has shown success drafting in the first round offensive players. And if you look at what we did this offseason, it was all defense. It was mainly defense. Brandon Cooks, a couple other guys, Ronald Jones or
basically
whatever.
Setting ourselves up for a very heavy draft.
Correct.
Doesn't matter the position, right?
So now we look at Zeke, right? So Zeke not in the picture anymore. We got Pollard starting. We got Ronald Jones, Malik Davis, and Rico. What's his name? Rico Dowdle. Mm-hmm. So a lot of people saying, "What about Bijan?" And you see some Eagle fans, I think, in the chat talking about.
Jacomo Fisher said, the Eagles want Bijan.
Here's the thing. Again, think about it like this for a second. Let's start if the Cowboys were able to get Bijan Robinson. Now, I do know that there is, and I'm going to check this here right now, right? Todd Brock said if the Texas Longhorn running back, Bijan Robinson, falls past the Eagles at that 10th pick, ESPN's draft expert Todd Brock says that he believes the Cowboys will try to make a splash and trade up to get him. That would be the absolute stupidest thing the Cowboys could do. But I'll explain why for other reasons later, because there's other running backs in this draft that we can get. We don't have to get Bijan Robinson and trade up for him nonetheless. But the Cowboys let him fall to him, and he's there available at 26. If the Cowboys draft him, we just talked about 5th-year options and CeeDee Lamb. The Cowboys draft him, 5th-year option, he would be under contract for basically about 5 years for about $30 million. All right, not bad, right? $6 million a year for a running back. That would be still the 7th highest value of any running back contract in the league. And we're talking about fully guaranteed money here of these 5 years. Fully guaranteed $30 million. Mm-hmm. And that's the 7th highest contract in the NFL at running back if that was to happen. I'm just letting you know. Like, I know it's going to go up some, but how much more is going to go up? And that's why I'm trying to say, think about that if we draft Bijan Robinson in the Eagles. I don't care if you think about it, but think about it if you're the Eagles and think about that money there. Is it worth it? The Cowboys spent the single biggest resource that we've had in the last, 35 years on running back. And with Zeke, I'm saying, all right?
Yeah,
and
well, when's the next time you think Dallas is going to get a 4th pick in the draft,
and that's what I'm saying. They used that pick, paid a lot of money. He was fantastic. Zeke was fantastic and he was cheap. It didn't really freaking matter, did it? Because we're back here again. We're dealing with the contract with Zeke here. Or we dealt with that contract. A lot of money you still have to take hits on. And a lot of kind of wasted years with Zeke, with the front office running him to the ground or not. But look at the last 10 years real quick. The last 10 years of first-round running backs getting drafted. Mm-hmm. Leonard Fournette was cut during his rookie deal. Brandon Jacobs, 5th-year option, was declined. CHE, replaced by a 7th-round pick. Penny, was it Rashad Penny? Mm-hmm. Signed for $1.5 million in free agency. $1.5 million right now. Sony Michel traded for a 4th and a 6th during his rookie deal. These are first round running backs. Todd Gurley, he was cut in year 5 out of the league, right? And he was out of the league basically a year later. He was cut in year 5, out of the league the year next later. Gordon, he was let walk. He was let walk by free agency. So you're looking at all these guys. These guys here in the last 10 years, Zeke included here, you're not seeing anybody that really lasts any time at running back. You don't want to waste a high draft pick on I don't care if he's Superman. You don't want to waste a high draft pick on a running back. Case effing closed. Listen, the only other 2 running backs in the last 10 years, Najee Harris for the Steelers and Travis Etienne from the Jacksonville. Those are the only 2 guys in the last 10 years have been drafted in the first round and that aren't complete total failures, still there with their teams. But Etienne missed an entire season because of injury, running back. Yeah. And again, Najee Harris has been very good. Don't get me wrong here. But how much has he truly been able to help Pittsburgh with their situation? I mean, you can't live off of that running back. And that's what I'm trying to say. Bijan Robinson, fantastic. You got to go another position, any other position, but not running back in the first round. Sorry, that's me. And I'm going to live by that. That's the way I feel. Because, again, I don't want the Cowboys to make a freaking splash and trade up for Bijan Robinson. Definitely not that. Picking him up at 26, I won't like it. What can we do? But, I have other that's my least preference right there.
I don't know when it happened, but running backs basically became like the safeties of the NFL.
On offense, yeah.
And I think everyone here knows what I mean by that comparison.
Yeah. Now, so I say this, you could look into the later rounds. You got Zach Evans in the 3rd or 4th round, Rashawn Johnson, Texas Longhorns, with running back with less tread on his tires. It could be just as good or, close to being, he could be viable for that 3rd or 4th round. And then you got Zach Charbonnet from UCLA. He's a running back that visited with the Bucs, but he also visited with the Chargers, Bills, Bears, Raiders, Niners, and our Dallas Cowboys. And we knew this already. We talked about him a little bit. He'll be around there for that 3rd, 4th round, possibly. He worked out privately. Worked out with all these teams. Went to see all these teams. But Charbonnet would be a perfect complement type running back, like Zach Evans in the 3rd or 4th. Yeah. Charbonnet could be a 4th or 5th type running back, maybe even 3rd or 4th round type running back that could be the complement to Tony Pollard. In the 3rd round. be more of a third
You know,
round
it's
pick.
so funny, Scorpio, because I was thinking about Derrick Henry, but off the top of my head, since I didn't know where he was drafted,
Second round.
I didn't want to mention it.
Second
but Scorpio
rounder.
said Derrick Henry was a second round pick. It'd
Correct.
be nice to be able to get Bijan in
There
the
you go.
second round, because then
Take
you know,
Bijan in the second round, but not the first.
It
Exactly.
is the cliff of, okay, Bijan's here, right? But you got to pay him up here. But here is someone who is basically just 10% production-wise less than what Bijan does, but he's 75% cheaper.
And that's what you have to measure.
I'm sorry, but yeah, it's...
Brian Broaddus said one thing about whoever we draft in. If we draft a running back this year, he said, whoever, quote from Brian Broaddus, whoever you take at running back in this year's draft will be your starting running back in 2024. So Bijan could make sense for Jerry Jones thinking that way, but you have a lot of guys in this draft at running back that have viable abilities, and you can still draft someone next year. You can still pick up a free agent if you need to for cheap. That's the key.
Yeah, I wonder if the Cowboys are looking for a more Zeke-like running back or a more Pollard-like running back.
I heard Stephen Jones said complimentary running back to Pollard. So we'll see. We'll see.
I know,
they
but
can
that's
say
what
whatever
I'm
they
saying.
want.
If you get a running back that complements Pollard, that means he's going to have like an alternate skill set. And if we're moving on from Pollard and now this guy's a starter, then we're like, I don't know. Just throwing that out there real quick. So anyway, real quick, maybe before you get to the next thing.
At the end here.
I know, taking a little 30-second commercial break here, guys. Seriously, shout out to everybody here hanging with us, chilling with us. I hope everyone's having a great night so far. Can't wait to see you guys again. For the next handful of streams we have this, I'm just saying, that's it. Like, the last few streams
we're here for the draft time.
And then for the draft, obviously, we'll be seeing everybody all night until that 26th pick. That's the only thing that sucks about this draft this year.
Night,
I gotta sit there and watch everybody else have their fun until it's like, okay,
that
Cowboys
first night's the big one. Yeah,
I know. But yes, thank you guys for hanging with us. Huge shout out to the man SnugX right now, representing as the sponsor of the week / the Cash App King.
Boom.
Much love. Mark Hosepian still repping it with 95 points on that stream, boss, though. Shout out to him.
Yeah. And again, right now,
did I miss anything?
Right now, Mark is first place. Like you said, SnugX is second place, Skeptical in third place on the overall board. And baby, how can people drop a little love if they want to help out the channel?
Yes, there's only a few ways to do that at the moment. Through the Cash App there, money sign MyCowboysFamily, Venmo, at my-Cowboys-family.
Woo.
Thank you, Mark Hosepian, demonstrating the Stream Labs link right there. That's much better. Easier to show it than to say it, right? Thank you, Mark. Appreciate that.
The man Mark Hosepian with that $3 Brandon Cooks holler. He's cooking. Remember, Brandon Cooks is number 3 this year. Did that green tab there.
That's
message on screen like a super chat through our OBS Streamlabs, PayPal, Venmo, Cash App. You know what to do. You know how to do it. Appreciate that drop there from Mark Hosepian. Back to 98 points on that stream. A little Bohana style for you. I know we got to get better than Bohana in there for sure. What did the man Mark Hosepian say, baby?
I'd be shocked if Nishan was there for us. But if all the top-rated guys are gone and he's there, you have to take him. He's the best running back in the past decade. So, yeah, he's the best running back in the past decade. He's generational. He saves a ton from Pollard in 2024.
See, that's the only reason why I think the Cowboys would.
I don't don't think it's Nishan. I'm guessing it's Bijan.
Yeah.
But it auto.
Yeah, I corrected. But I'm trying to say is like, look, the only thing that says, okay, yeah, you can. It wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. Like the worst thing is because you're going to use him for the next 5 years. But I just said $30 million for that. Just think about it. Contract wise, you're paying even for rookie Bijan Robinson $30 million for 5 years, and $6 million a year is the 7th highest running back contract in the NFL right now. I don't know if I can. You get a cheaper running back, you can do that. We're not going to. I doubt the Cowboys will keep him more than 5 years. If we do, we probably are stupid.
Yeah.
Because like Zeke was generational, you ran him to the ground. They would probably do this with Bijan Robinson.
Yeah. The problem with generational running backs is that, as you basically pointed out, how many of them even make it to their 5th-year option?
Not many. Very rarely.
To end up in a situation where you feel good and comfortable about extending them, playing them on that 5th-year option. Basically, if we did to Bijan what we're doing to CeeDee Lamb right now, but the whole point is that even Zeke, by the time that we went to sign him, we were already starting to begin to have these discussions about what's going to happen moving forward here. So, to me, you are taking a first-round pick and wasting it. If you are going to just get Bijan in that first round, you might as well trade down to the second, because you're going to end up in the exact same spot.
Jahmyr Gibbs, he's a guy everyone loves. I think that's his name. They love him. I mean, he's a guy that can do just as well in the second round. You've got other guys in this draft you can grab at running back to complement Pollard. But if you want to get a guy for the future, for like the long term, you don't really need to draft the running back for the future.
Pretty much any first round pick that you don't pick up the 5th-year option on and try to like extend or keep here longer, doesn't matter the team. It is a bit of a waste. The whole perk of being in the first round is that teams do get a little bit of extra negotiating room with that 5th year for what's supposed to be a high value player, a high quality player.
For a longer time after, right?
You got to deliver on that front too.
Well,
so I'm just saying,
right.
like that's it goes both ways in that
sense. As we
sense,
dive
right?
into the end of this thing, just real quick, guys, a couple names I want to bring up as we wrap this up. At 26, options for what I've been seeing, and we've been seeing it here. We did our mock draft. My number one pick for this draft, it was the same one we did it with the mock draft. It's still the same, and that's Darnell Wright from Tennessee. Right tackle, can play left guard. He's versatile. He is a dominator outside of left tackle spot, which is cool with me. We got Tyler Smith. I'm cool with that. So Darnell Wright to me is the number one guy up there. You know I love Mozzie Smith, but that could be a little early. Same thing with Steve Avila, could be a little early. You want that actual pack. You want that full punch for your pick there. Then you value for your pick. You want to probably go for it. Try to get a Darnell Wright over a Steve Avila or even a Mozzie Smith, because these are second round guys. You can probably get someone similar to that in the second round. I love Darnell Washington as a possible pickup for the Cowboys. Remember, guys, I'm mentioning only the guys that came in for the 30 visits. I do like Michael Mayer over Dalton Kincaid at tight end, but Darnell Washington, he came in for the Cowboys and he visited. Mm-hmm. Keep an eye on him. He's a dark horse in this first round, and I love him there. Michael Mayer did come in for the Cowboys top 30, and I think so did Dalton Kincaid. But to me, it's Mayer and Washington there at the tight end spot. I love Darnell Wright, though, as the overall guy there. There's a couple guys I don't like Quentin Johnson and Drew Sanders. I do not like either of these guys. Neither do I like Emmanuel Forbes or even Zay Flowers. I almost don't have a big issue with Will McDonald, but I don't think we need another edge rusher to have part-time play out there for a first-round pick. No. So I like Darnell Wright. I like two Darnells. Darnell Wright, Darnell Washington at tight end. I'm not saying necessarily first round, but these are some names that are coming up a lot in that first round, or a little below us. We can trade back and still get one of these guys. If we trade back, Steve Avila, Mozzie Smith, I love it. We trade back even a couple spots. I'll take us. We're adding a fourth rounder or a third rounder. So you seeing a lot of these names.
Both Darnells, right?
Yeah.
And thank you so much, by the way. You saw it right there on your screen.
Snug
X representing.
With a
$5 holler.
You mean a 5 on it?
Show some love.
Much love at the 5. Appreciate you, Snug X, taking Mark to 93 points. Snug X still slowly but surely going up, trying to catch Snug. Snug's trying to catch Mark. Maybe go back to back like our 90s Cowboys.
Can Snug catch Snug?
I don't know. Hey, Snug caught himself last weekend, and he got himself that kingdom, that crown, and of course the sponsor of the week. But now, new week, Snug's giving chase for now to the man Mark Hovsepian, who's got 93 points on that stream boss. So
I'm sorry, guys. She looks so cute.
I know she's so sleepy.
I know.
So finishing up again. So some out of these names, I'm gonna go through about a couple of these names that I think are. I want you to tell me what you think. I want the chat to tell me what they think, and I'm gonna compare.
And I can already tell you right now, Q Ball just said no running back or tight end in the first round.
Well, let's talk about it here.
Obviously, I disagree with at least half of that statement.
First and foremost, Darnell Wright's my personal favorite, but I'm gonna go with the tight end first for a reason. But I'm just saying, Darnell Wright, Tennessee, will give the Cowboys a formidable offensive line. Let's be honest about this. Could probably match with anybody in the NFL. With a left side, I would say he would play left guard eventually. Or, he would be much better than Connor Williams, or anybody in that side, on that left side. So to me, he's a huge improvement at left guard. And he can play right tackle in a dominant way. He has the versatility to play very well at left guard and right tackle. So to me, he's my altogether favorite. And we have that left side. Imagine that left side of the offensive line set for a decade with someone like Darnell Wright, assuming that he produces like he should.
It would be nice to not have to worry about the most important part of the offensive line when you think about it.
Another one of my big ones here is Steve Avila, for the same reason. I mean, again, not a big, sexy pick. He's a reach of a pick, in my opinion.
Offensive linemen rarely are.
He'd be a solidifier in the offensive line. He wouldn't be as dominant, I think, or versatile as Darnell Washington, but I'm sorry, let me finish that. Avila can't play center. So that is true there. He can play. He's more versatile if you want an interior guy. You want a guy who can play all over the place, as Darnell Darnell Wright. Steve Avila, though.
Almost said Darnell Washington.
Yeah, Steve Avila.
So too many Darnells.
Steve Avila can solidify the Cowboys' offensive line. And again, he'd be better than Connor McGovern, Connor Williams, starting off, in my opinion, right now, day one, even though he still would be a reach for 26. But the guy that I think is the biggest we're going to lead in with him is Darnell Washington, the Georgia humongous tight end. Again, he's a giant tight end. He can contribute immediately as a blocker, red zone weapon, and after the catch threat, which you got to remember, West Coast offense. That's going to require a lot of run after the catch. Guys, it's important to get the right guys in the mix here. We got the right guys in this mix with Mark Hovsepian dropping that $3. Brandon Cooks, holler in the house.
Ooh,
another 3 on that from Mark Hovsepian. What did he have to say, baby?
He said,
96 points.
Asha is pathetic like my boo-boo was. You notice Boo-Boo's pick? Yes, Mark. We see Boo-Boo there. So, and in case you guys didn't know, Boo-Boo was Mark's lovely little doggy. Cute. Oh my God, just cute. But he said, sorry, let me keep going. He said, LOL, I did not realize that I lost last week. I thought I was leading. If Brother Snug is number 1, but you said I was number 1. A blow to my ego.
No.
LOL, no clowns.
No.
I
never said that.
You guys went back and forth there for a good chunk of time.
I want to make sure I say one thing. On that night, Mark Hovsepian actually had more in the house there for that night. But for the whole week, Snug had beat you already. He had you by like 60 or 70 or more, I think, than that. So you started off like down 60 or 70. So, yeah, you beat him for the night, but you didn't get him enough on the overall. So, listen, I got it caught up by the end of the stream, and we had it fixed, but I don't know if you were maybe around at that time. It sucks you couldn't get in there for the win. But either way, bro, I know. It was a big streak. The second best streak ever here on this channel. So much love to Mark Hovsepian.
And the most historic day for the channel ever.
Yeah, and you guys are the ones that led the charge. So did Mr. Jason Renfro and Skeptical were involved, but we know the guys running the channel was Mark Hovsepian.
Team effort there.
Snug X, yeah. So as I go to this thing here, much love to Mark, by the way, 96 points in the stream boss. Let's start with Darnell Washington from Georgia. Here's just listen to what I'm going to say here. He's 6'7", 265 pounds, 34-inch arms, 11-inch hands. He's going to catch the football is the point. He's a gargantuan tight end. Huge tight end. Again, a little
6'7".
Again, a little Rico.
Wayne made a song about it.
Better, a little bigger than Rico Gathers. I guess you're not bigger, but better. A lot better than Rico Gathers. And you're looking at him in that size range where he can really be a danger in multiple different situations, guys. He's a guy that would, if he was drafted by the Cowboys, would be immediately a contributor as a blocker. So him in the game is a danger as a weapon, receiving and blocking and running in the run game, a red zone weapon, and after the catch threat, like I said, in the West Coast offense, he fits it to a T. Stephen Jones described the kind of tight end they wanted. They described Darnell Washington. Keep that in mind there. So he's a better fit than, let's say, Michael Mayer. He's a better fit than Dalton Kincaid for the Cowboys team, what we have in place already on this team.
So scheme and obviously coach preferences or something could make a decision between a Meyer and a Washington.
You got to remember, he's more of a guy that can bring a bigger playmaking ability, I think, to the Cowboy team than, let's say, Mayer. Mayer's a safe pick. Dalton Kincaid got that back injury. I'm a little worried about him as far as staying healthy, even though he's been good to go. To me, again, comparing receiver-wise, Michael Mayer's a better receiver than Washington. Darnell Washington. Kincaid's a better receiver than Darnell Washington. But Darnell Washington's a better all-around tight end. And that's one thing we don't have in Dallas, as I would say, as openly. We have two very athletic tight ends in Peyton Hendershot and Ferguson.
But we don't really have an all-around guy that's just good at everything.
We don't have that Jason Witten guy. Let me put it that way. I'm just going to use him as not old Jason Witten, but like young rookie Jason Witten. So Darnell Washington, he's been kind of compared to Jason Witten. Darnell Washington. I know Kyle Pitts. Imagine Kyle Pitts, but not as good, but still pretty damn good. A lot better than Rico Gathers. Somewhere he reminds me a little bit of Kyle Pitts in that way. But when you look at him, guys, he's got the pure athletic ability to be able to take it to the next level. Even though he's not the most athletic guy, I think Mayer is more athletic. But we'll talk about that in a minute. Mark is going to talk about that Brandon Cooks $3 holler. What did Mark have to say, baby?
I'm cracking up. By the way, we have to add a command in the chat to the exclamation point flute.
No,
just
not the flute. Not the flute.
Yes, the flute. Thank you, Mark, with a 3. Dollar Holler, he said, it was flute time for me, if you know what I mean. I'm scared Jerry Jones will mess up this draft. I said it's small improvements. Puna, is it over?
Yeah, it's over. It's over.
Is it over?
I want Puna in
What
the house,
free agent is better than Osa? Osa's okay, but we still need a better guy. So
I don't think we do, in the sense of what we do with Osa as a 3-tech. We don't really, we use him sometimes in the pass rush, but sometimes we use Dorrance and DeMarcus Lawrence in the pass rush side of things. So Osa fits in what Dan Quinn's kind of doing. But yeah, there are better guys out there. I'm sure they are. 3-techs, I'm sure. That stop the run, definitely. But the Cowboys, I'm just going to let you know, man. I'm just going to break your heart. They're going to stay with our own guys. They're not going to turn their back on Osa in his third year as he's getting, trajectory's kind of going up, but not maybe as fast as we hope. He's not a 1-tech. He's a 3-tech. So you got to remember, there's that too. Puna Forman's a 1-tech. But the Cowboys are not going to do anymore. They're not going to do much more on that interior unless they have a huge change in mindset or something happens between now and training camp that they need to fill in that spot with an injury or something like that. Hopefully that don't happen.
Look, there's always like 1 or 2 positions that every team has to slightly cheap out on. It's clear that's where we are cheaping out on.
Yeah.
I don't know how else to explain
and
that
not even cheaping out, it's also stubbornness. It's stubbornness from the front office.
You know what I mean by cheaping out. It's not that we are completely incapable of improving that position. It's that we are choosing to spend those resources elsewhere, right? Whether it's effort, time, energy to even like bring somebody in, whether it's just, like you guys said, depth, whether it's free agent, whether it's draft, however it goes, the Cowboys are just choosing not to do it. So.
Yeah, and I think that's going to be the running theme for this Cowboy front office is that they're just going to do. They got their guy. They're going to play. They're going to play those guys till they're dropped. Till they drop or the 4 years are off, are done. Mark with another 3 on that, and baby, he was at 99. Now he's at 100. He's all the way fully loaded again, fully powered up, and then fully in first place right now over Snug and Skeptical in the top spot. Full house for Marco Sepp. What do you have to say?
He said, well, Puna would be better than Bohanna, and Osa's just not that good.
I agree.
An
Comparison.
Excellent rotational guy.
Agree.
For a 3-tech. But as a starter, he is very mediocre.
I agree.
Like I said, slight improvements needed.
And that's the thing. For me, Osa is exactly what you said, a rotational starter. He's a rotational player that's going to start here and there, but he's a rotational guy, down and distance, situational. And that's what Dan Quinn is using him as, and that's what he fits. So he fits to what the Cowboys are doing, but I would love to see an improvement there. I agree with Puna. It ain't happening. And if it happens, I'll be celebrating right there with you, my man. Now, I want to talk about Darnell Washington. I don't want to know what Mark and everybody else thinks about Darnell because, listen, at 6'7", 265, he's a better blocker. I saw somebody asking in the chat, I think Monroe Godet, can he block better than Schultz? Yeah. Yes, a lot better than Dalton Schultz. He's a lot better than Dalton Kincaid and a lot better than Michael Mayer when it comes to blocking.
So as far as having an impact on our offense, is someone here, man, I want to read the specific. There it is. Lost in Translation said, Darnell Washington can help block, adds another wrinkle to the offense.
Yes, and now you can go under center, play action Dak, and have an easy, open, huge, wide open target going to the right or left when you roll out. You play action roll out. You have Darnell Washington, everybody will come up on him. They'll come up on Dak's running legs. Dak goes down the field and hits a touchdown. Yeah. I'm just trying to say this is
saying
big.
Darnell Washington would change the offense. Huge impact.
Exactly. That's what I think people have to understand. That run-pass ability with him there. Ferguson and Hendershot next to him, who both can block too, right? Not as good, but they can both block. Darnell Washington be the best blocker and a big-time threat, short yardage, red zone, and run after the catch. Now, will the Cowboys take a risk like this? He's a guy that can fall to the second round. So there's some people who say, well, we should wait till the second round on him. We'll see if the Cowboys brought him in for a top 30. He might not be there. Probably won't be there in the second round at 58. So even though Darnell Washington is not as good a receiver as Kincaid or Mayer, everything shows that he has a higher ceiling as a receiver than Mayer and Kincaid. They are both higher ceiling.
So basically he's not there yet, right, but where he's expected to be. He's expected to end up better than Mayer.
Exactly. And you got to remember, both these guys, these guys don't have the size. Like Kincaid doesn't have the size that Washington has, or his blocking ability. Okay. Mayer is a refined all-around player, but he's a good blocker, but not a great blocker like Darnell Washington. So that's the key here. And those big hands, he ain't gonna drop many passes. He's pretty fast for a 6'7", 265 guy.
He runs a 40. Begun to talk about Moody in the first round. How dare you?
How dare I? Well, I'm talking about Mark here in this round with that $3 holler. What did the man say?
Much love, Mark. Mahalo to you once again. He said, I'm scared that he could be another LaFleur. But that said, he's not worth number
First
one,
round.
and he probably won't be there in the second round like Mitz.
Exactly, and that's
so that's why we need to trade down and then back up to ensure we get 3 really good guys.
I'm 100% with you. We hope the Cowboys do. They probably will not, and that's not because of Will McClay. That's because of the Joneses. They don't want to. They're gonna probably want to stay there and not move around too much. They've studied, they practiced, and they're stubborn. So they're gonna stay with their guys they have marked, and those handful of guys they're either gonna get or wait for one of them to fall to them.
Look,
but I think they're gonna let them fall to them.
My like mental fantasy here when it comes to the draft is that someone just makes the Cowboys an offer too good to refuse,
and it makes us drop back. That's the only thing. That's the only thing that would force Jerry Jones's hand is if they give us a second rounder to move back 7-8 spots. Boom. That's what you'll see.
So to me,
speaking of boom,
very much more on what other teams do than what on the Cowboys want to do. You have to make a good effort there. So real quick,
speaking of effort,
SnugX,
he got
$5
he put that $5
holler there.
What did he say? The beauty of the channel?
No, he actually. Let me read the actual specific comment there. So thank you, Snug. He said, "Can we get an estimate on the date and time the MCW gaming channel will?"
Ooh, there you go.
Start?
Maybe it's getting close.
Yes,
the man Voodoo,
Frame Rippers, aka Voodoo, was saying it here in the chat, guys. But yes, I finally, it only took a little longer than we thought, but we did it. We got it. I got my PC headed my way, and I'm gonna be doing some, gaming.
Get ready.
Stuff. So it's a
little bonus.
Just have it, honestly, guys. Just having some fun and doing some stuff that is basically all the not football related stuff that is not even vaguely Cowboys adjacent.
You'll have some cooking and baking.
Yes,
You'll have some.
I'm sure there'll be some baking. There's gonna be some other
gaming.
stuff, but it's more of just me, doing some of the other things that I enjoy doing along with football.
It's gonna be.
This is nothing's changing here on the MCS
this
side of things. Yes.
Yeah, but you guys will trust me when we get it set up. You guys will get all the info and know how to get there. And she might not do it every day. She might do it twice a week or something once a week. I don't know what your plan is, but I know that you're gonna have it's not gonna be every other day or every day like we do here, but it is gonna be often enough. You don't want to miss her stream. So we'll let you know all that information as we get it set up in the next coming weeks. Much love
the
the Frame
computer
Rippers.
gets here next week.
Yeah,
so
and we get it set up.
You'll be seeing a few
by the weekend, maybe,
test
right?
streams.
Yeah, I think by the weekend we could probably get something rolling.
Yes.
By that weekend, so we stay on the lookout. We'll know more then. Much love to Voodoo Alpha, aka Frame Rippers. Get your computers from him. Great deals, great stuff. Family here. So
yes.
Now, as I finish this again, much love to everybody. Snug and Mark just going back and forth on the top, and we go back again.
Actually, before I read Mark's comment, just because I did see a comment here in the chat by Q Ball that I think is relevant to some of the comments that Mark has made at that position. He said, Osa's one of the guys that I have that's going to take a big jump this season. That's
my hope, but I have to see it. Like, I've seen 2 years, and he's getting a little better, but he's not there yet. We got to see that jump. I hope we see that. We got to hope. I bet you one thing, Jerry Jones, Stephen Jones, they already said, oh yeah, he's definitely going to make that jump. They're sticking to their guns on this. They will, whether you like it or not, you think he's also going to make the jump or not, the Joneses are going to wait and hope he makes the jump. That's what they do. That's the way they're going to do it. And whether I agree or Marco Seppian agrees or disagrees or anybody else, that's what the Joneses are going to do. So.
Oh, sorry, Scorpio's cracking me up. It's not that type of channel. We're not trying to do hot tubs. No. He's joking. I know he is. I'm just saying. No, you're not gonna hot tub streams or any of that weird stuff.
Very innocent and gaming stream from the wife here. Yes. Well,
I mean, probably lots of curse words.
Yeah, well, innocent. Innocent. It's not like an OnlyFans. Sorry, Snug.
So now, and skeptical one. I will. I think it's a little bit of a different setup. We technically do have the, what's it called for the PS4? The virtual VR headset. We do have the VR headset for the PS4. I would have to do some stuff because technically it's on yours and not mine. Okay. So I'm just saying, I would have to do some stuff, but it's not completely out of the realm of possibility that I do a virtual reality game. But for now, just throwing this out there, it's going to be all Zelda for games, 3 months straight, very, very easily, because the new Zelda game does come out.
So you got a non-stop play.
3 weeks.
Yeah, we already discussed this.
And yes, you will be.
She won't be on MCF that night.
not that night.
She'll be doing her own thing on the other stream. I think that night we might take that night off probably. Yes. So either way. Yeah, we're coming. We're bringing it. We're bringing it.
Right, Scorpio. It's honestly, I feel like there's definitely just Scorpio a general content of hot girl does X, and it's like this is content because she's in like a cute outfit or something. And it's like at that point, honestly, like if I was gonna do something like that, I would just be like, oh, watch me clean my house, and I would just like do chores and do that. And
don't give Snug ideas.
I'm just saying. Look, anyway, whatever. Anyway,
let's get back to football.
Give me a second.
Right?
Let me.
Yeah, take care of that little pooch. And I'm going to take care of the end of this Washington talk. Darnell Washington, I kind of agree with Mark Hovsepian that he's not really worth that 26th pick. But you kind of want to see if he can produce even like a little bit like Kyle Pitts. Would he be worth that 26th? Hell yeah. Hell yeah, he would be worth it. So that's kind of our situation here, right? I think Darnell Washington might drop into that mid-second round with like Steve Avila, with what's his name? Mozzie Smith. These are the guys that I think are the best for the Cowboys at for the actual worth of the pick. Yet you might have to take one of these guys at 26. And again, Darnell Washington at 26 wouldn't be, I don't think, the end of the world. There's definitely be a lot of love and a lot of hate on that pick. But I just think as we get to Mark Hovsepian's comment, he's back to 100 full points, fully loaded. His sky-high upside is the big risk at 26. It's like he might not produce. Right now we know where he's at. He's a second-rounder. But if he produces with the projection of improving on his receiving abilities, which he's really good now, but he's not as the other two guys.
Yeah.
He's a second-round receiver, let's just say. He's not a first. You're drafting in the 26th pick is because you're drafting for the future potential. Yeah. On his ability to break out and probably be the best guy of this draft when it comes to tight end, possibly.
By the way, Skeptical fan, have a great night.
Skeptical.
And let me go ahead
Always staying skeptical.
Mark Hovsepian's $3 holler.
I will say that. I just want to say the 58th pick for us, PFF right now, guys, on their big board, has Darnell Washington. Is she right?
Yeah, but she's white, and I was trying to read
okay. Before I had to come. No, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I know I wasn't finished. We'll get to Mark in a minute. I just want to say that this is an important point. PFF ranked him 68th on their big board. It doesn't mean much. You can still pick him 50th. But the point is, the Cowboys are at 58th. If it goes by that board, it's somewhat similar to that, we will be able to get him in the second round. As you saw in our draft here, when we did our mock draft, he was there in the second round. So that's one of the things you maybe don't want to take. That's one of the reasons you don't want to take him with that 26th pick. Now, I just want to say this real quick. You look at our tight ends, they're different than our two current ones. Because Dalton Schultz in 2022, 40 pass blocking snaps. Ferguson had 45 pass blocking snaps. And Hendershot had only 15. He had a lot less time on the field. Dalton Schultz had 189 snaps from the slot. 61 snaps from the outside receiver spot. Ferguson had only 25 snaps from the slot. That's it. And 11 snaps from the outside. Hendershot actually had 60 snaps from the slot, which is comparable to Dalton Schultz. Interesting there. And 12 snaps on the outside. Again, the least on the outside. Dalton Schultz was by far our best outside tight end receiver. Do we need that though? So we're going to have Cooks and CeeDee Lamb and Gallup, but do we need an outside tight end out there? So when you look at the other kind of comparables, inline snaps for tight ends, that's blocking downs basically. That's blocking most of the time. It's blocking 221 inline snaps for Dalton Schultz. He did that his whole 4 years with us. 116 inline snaps for Jake Ferguson, right? Yeah. And Hendershot had 55 inline snaps. My point is they all can do it. They do it relatively the same amount of times. When you look at Ferguson, and put him with Hendershot, they're doing that inline blocking a lot of the time together. Darnell Washington, right? Darnell Washington would be able to provide that on his own. That's just the sixth offensive lineman in a way. And when you look at this last thing, guys, when you look at snaps lined up during running plays, Schultz had 334 snaps. Ferguson, 275 snaps. That's a lot. And 168 from Hendershot. Both these guys, you put them together, they got more than Schultz. And if you add a third guy in the mix here, whether it's Kincaid, I hope not, whether it's Mayer, which I like to an extent, and I like Washington as well, that's going to give you a lot more production there at the tight end position, which is something that we need, that the athletic guys and those blocking guys that can change an offense, like Darnell Washington. One last thing I want to say, tight end prospects in the first round when you compare them, right? The RAS, the RAS score, relative athletic score. It goes from 0 to 10. We know how this works, right? But Michael Mayer, 7.65 in his RAS score out of 10.
Okay.
Schultz, 7.11.
All right.
Peyton Hendershot, 8.64. I told you, more athletic. Ferguson, although athletic on that field, jumping over people, he only had a 6.73 when grading this side of thing in the combine. Travis Kelce had a 9.27, just for an example of a fantastic last score.
And not just that, but just so you can see where they fall on that scale comparatively.
Darnell Washington, a 9.88. Yeah. He's ranked.
So now it makes a little more sense why there's so much Darnell interest.
You don't see the athleticness on the field on tape, but he has that athleticness. You see it on the combine, on tape, on scouting combines. And he ranked 14th in the history of tight ends at the combine, 14th athletically, out of 1,104 tight ends since 1987 all the way through 2023.
So the Cowboys are definitely looking at this as a very coachable moment, right?
Oh, yeah.
Like a
and
very
Lunda Wells is what makes
player.
it. Lunda Wells, or Lunda Wells, however you say his name, but he's our tight ends coach. He's the reason why he's helped blocking and pass catching on our tight end side. He's really done a good job as our tight ends coach. I would feel great with Mayer. I don't really like Kincaid, but Mayer or Washington, I would be good with the coaching staff being able to get these guys to the most of their abilities based on Lunda Wells and the offensive kind of mindset he has. He was an offensive line coach for the Cowboys as an assistant way back when he was volunteering.
Yeah.
And he came back to the Cowboys. Now he's our tight ends coach who really focuses on the blocking. So you can bet that you're going to see a little bit of the Darnell Washington love out there, who are blocking and catching. Now I know we have to go back.
Yes.
I apologize. Snug X dropping a little love here. 5 on it. And Mark Hosepian with that Brandon Cooks $3 holler. Speak on it, baby. Mark has 95 points. What did Mark say with his 3?
Mark first said, why did they suspend you? Let me see. Why did this suspend you? A ton of other shows like this swear all the time. Why do they have a bat up their asses? I blame this woke generation. You probably hurt someone's feelings, and they needed a hug.
They said it was a language thing. We probably cursed too early on one of our streams. I don't even know anymore. I'm not even trying to risk it too much. But then when we reapplied and it took a little longer than usual, we haven't cursed on here too much, right? In streams, I mean, we must have cursed a lot in the beginning of a stream because they told us that's what we got dinged for. But then when we try to get back into the program, they said that we had Madden simulations that were not content you can monetize.
Yeah, so
we didn't do this for years. They never told. We started that whole thing.
So I guess apparently
we cleaned up our channel.
Madden games are considered like NFL.
You have to get special permission from EA Sports to use that. Can you believe that? And that's what they put. And they let us in this thing when we were doing simulations. So 5 years ago wasn't a problem. Now, this year it's a problem. It's frustrating.
And again, after a lot of other back and forth with
you don't know, guys. You don't know.
YouTube and all that stuff. One of the things, and again, like we said, we obviously, we're not trying to use NFL footage. We're not trying to do like other stuff like that either.
We used to use all 22, which was fine.
Yeah,
everybody used it. We talk over and describe what's going on. You're allowed to do that.
Yeah, but
they didn't think us for that though. They think us for Madden, for Madden saying it's illegal content or some shit.
Look, let's be clear. We are assuming it was the Madden based off the comments they gave us, but even they can't it's not we
asked and they just said you gotta check.
So one of the reasons that you see a few changes to our channel is because again they were not 100,000,010% clear on what it was exactly, because when we went to reapply they basically just told us the same thing again. So
yeah, I mean, they told us we applied once.
That's what I'm saying. Like every time the few times that we've gotten in contact with an actual human, they just keep repeating the same thing over and over.
Last couple of weeks, they keep saying check the policies.
As you see, we kind of just decided to err on the side of caution, and so now you're seeing our beautiful faces every night, and I think the part that I miss the most, I'm not gonna lie, is our little intro music. Listen, we didn't know where to take any chance on anything that could have possibly been seen as anything, whatever.
They took away the soul of the beginning of the channel, right? They took away that beat, the drop. They took it all away. So I ain't risking it. But I'm trying to, get into what everything YouTube says to do, and then when we get back in, we will do, we'll do our things like we always do here, like we're seeing now, and we continue rocking here with the memberships and the super chats available and all that other stuff that we can do here. There's going to be gifted memberships too. You're going to be able to gift memberships to others here once we get back in. So it's going to be just a matter of getting in.
Looking forward to all the new features.
Trust me, there's also income there they're keeping from ad revenue and stuff that they're keeping still. They haven't even. I don't want to talk about it. It's too upsetting to talk about, and really not the stream for it. But I do appreciate the love and the concern there from Mark and Snug and everybody.
Yes. Before I read Snug's comment, though, I did want to shout out Uncle Charles in the chat also wishing his dad. Guys, send Uncle Charles's dad some good vibes, good thoughts, and you know, prayers if that's your thing. You know, he definitely could use it. It looks like he's going through a rough time, and I just hope he's doing all right and doing a little better now. So yes, YouTube with the introduction of Shorts monetization changed a lot of their policies to make it so that they don't have to pay out as much, and so they can ding you for any little thing. And again, if you guys are on YouTube, you know, because several other huge creators have all talked about some of the newer changes.
But like Mark said, you see this stuff going on other channels and no one says anything. So look, I'm done.
And that's what I'm trying to say.
I don't want to talk about it.
I'm just saying, bigger channels than us for the same thing, smaller channels than us for the same thing. Like that's what I'm saying. There is no rhyme or reason to it. But thank you guys.
My point is that some big channels that do this and don't get in trouble for it. So I'm not here to take anyone down. I'm just saying that, you know, they took us down, whatever the reason. I don't know. Maybe they hate the Cowboys.
Yeah.
Either way,
so someone running their things over there must be a Giants fan. So, but real quick, let me go ahead and shout out SnugX's comment, which also made me laugh a little bit. Here, it's gonna take me a second to get to it though. Well, can you filibuster for a second?
I guess I can here. I mean, I was going to go to...
Oh, there we go. I found it.
Go ahead. That's why I knew I didn't have to do anything.
I said for a second. So, real quick, thank you so much, Snug, with the $5 holler saying, I'm crowdfunding to purchase a hot tub for the family. We can all win, people. We can all win.
I like the way he's thinking. I know why he's thinking it. I like the way he's thinking there. The hot tub channel might not be coming for a while.
Sorry, guys. It's, you know, not exactly the OCF flavor we're trying to put out there.
But we'll give you a lot of flavors, guys. But, you know, not the only fan stuff. Sorry, Snug, but I hear you. I feel you, man. I know. I would love a hot tub. We can all chill and talk. We could do our these discussions in the hot tub every night.
Remember, if we do a hot tub stream, remember, I wouldn't be the only one in the hot tub. So that would be part of the contract.
There you go, guys.
You gotta wear a bikini.
Yeah, I'll be wearing a bikini for you guys. Hells no.
Oh, so Drums and Cowboys, much love. Honestly, we kind of suspected that as well, but you know, YouTube doesn't really say it. Basically, somebody could have like tried to report our channel specifically or flag us or something.
I know it wasn't that either. By the way, I know it wasn't because I know why they hit us on. They told us, but it was also I guess something they could have told them.
It's more about the initial hit because, like you said, it's not like we hadn't been using adult language
or simulations for 5 years.
So that's why I said at least for me, I haven't completely ruled it out, but we're.
All right.
I can't really. That's what I'm saying. I just can't believe someone would ever do something.
I know people. I know people would definitely do it. But my point is,
I don't live my life that way. So.
I don't care at this point. It's not my. If I find out, they're going down. But outside of that, you know, I don't really give a damn. It's just whatever it is. It is. Yeah. YouTube is the major issue here, but we love you, YouTube. Let us back in. Anyways, the point here is, what's another name I can throw into this mix of
My Cowboys Only fan said Bruce 752.
That's funny. So. Edge rusher Will McDonald IV from Iowa State is a guy Dan Quinn has worked out. He was there for their workout on the pro day. We know him. He's involved. You saw what happened with Sam Williams. Will McDonald is a guy that could be a second rounder. I don't think he's a guy for the 26th pick, but he's a guy that's a top 30. It's one of the top guys on this list, a short list of guys I mentioned. The Cowboys would have a lot. We already have a lot of edge depth right now. That would improve it for the future, but it's more about, again, we have DeMarcus Lawrence, Micah Parsons, Sam Williams, Dorrance Armstrong, Dante Fowler. Already on the roster. To me, guys, again, he's 6'3", Will McDonald, 239 pounds. So he's not the biggest outside edge rusher. He does have 34-inch plus arms, but he struggles to defend the run effectively. And that is an issue for Will McDonald. I don't want that on our team. I'd rather roll with Sam Williams and let him get used to that. I don't think we need to throw a defensive edge in there. So even though a lot of people are talking about him, be a great pick, you could also see him maybe at 58 if the Cowboys really want him. And he'd be great in our sub packages, that Amoeba, NASCAR 500 where everyone's standing up. He'd be great in that. No doubt for Will McDonald. I mean, for Will McDonald IV from Iowa State. But do we need him for a 26th pick? The answer is no. So I tell you, Darnell Washington, I think he's a little bit of an early pick, a reach, but he's maybe a worth reach. Will McDonald is not a reach. To me, he is a reach, but to me, he's a reach we don't even need right now. Like, I'd take a tight end over an edge rusher that we have too many already there. Now, another guy you can say it would be a reach is Mozzie Smith, defensive tackle, especially for this front office. They're going to be like, we don't want to do anything in our possibility to not draft a defensive tackle. But again, I just talked about Will McDonald, an edge rusher defense, and nose tackle, which is even less popular at the Cowboys front office. Mozzie Smith from Michigan, nose tackle. To me, he is one of the better interior three down
Mark
guys.
Is a big fan of him.
Big fan
at that drafting
later,
spot,
right?
of course.
But not at 26 though. I think
No. That's what I said.
Right.
Drafting, basically second round and beyond.
Right. And just like I said with McDonald, second round possibility. So did I say Darnell Washington could be a second round possibility, and so can Mozzie Smith. Can be a 58th pick. Not saying he's going to be. He's probably going to be gone earlier, but he's a guy. You got in trouble with the guns and stuff at the beginning of the year, but he just dropped a little bit out of first place there. Some places, Bruce Feldman ranked him number 1 in college football freaks list that he makes every year for last season. So again, he's yet to become an effective pass rusher. He can pass rush, but he's not a 3-down guy entering the league, Mozzie Smith. So,
which again, at the D line, that's a big ask.
You got to remember he's got a lot of upside, athleticism, and you got to remember a lot of untapped potential. Which Dan Quinn, hands-on approach with the hands, the violent hands, maybe has to get a little more the hand technique stuff down.
A real hands-on approach.
I'm saying that is what I'm trying to say is that Dan Quinn knows how to unlock stuff on these players.
He's the type of coach that would bring out
maximize his 3rd-down potential to get a 3-down guy in there. His draft stock is in a place that's going to kind of escape that first round, but probably not make it to the second round. Could, but probably won't make it to the second round. The Cowboys either trade back or have to trade up to get him. I don't know if either one is. I know trading back is worth it. I don't know if they can do that. But trading up, I don't think it's worth it to do that when you have other guys like Keanu Benton and Ika that you can still draft in the 2nd or 3rd round. So if he's there in the 2nd round, you grab him and you don't think about it. That's my opinion. But in the 1st round, that could be an issue. So again, I'm going through some of these guys on this list. And I think that another major player, another kind of this, I put him in the same Mozzie Smith area, and that's Steve Avila from TCU. 6'3", 332 pounds, 33-inch arms. Not good for the tackle position, but good for the interior guard and center. He played 4 out of the 5 spots, great, but he should not be playing tackle in the NFL. Keep him at guard, maybe a little center. He did play that as well. Mm-hmm. He has again impressive power to displace defenders at the point of attack. So he hits you, you get off your line. You get off your purpose of what you're going to do. When he hits you, he knocks you back, he rocks you, he gets you out of your gaps. So again, Avila is a functional athlete, 8.46 on the RAS score out of 10. So he's a very good, fast, athletic guard that can do a lot of pulling and that kind of stuff. We got that. He could be on the move, land strikes out there as a puller or in the screen game. Fantastic screen blocker in that West Coast. Steve Avila is a guy I like a lot as an offensive guard, as an interior player, offensive guard, left guard. Not a great sexy pick, like I said, but he's a day one starter, better than all those Connors that we had before that. And he would be, again, we know the Cowboys like him. He's all these guys I'm talking about are top 30 picks. The Cowboys have major interest in all 5 of these guys. So, Steve Avila to me is a guy that could, be a guy the Cowboys grab there at 26 easily, I think. But it could be a little bit of a reach, kind of like Mozzie Smith. Now, the last guy I have left, and the last discussion tonight here, is on... Well, actually, let me go back to... it's going to be on one last guy, the offensive lineman. But I want to go back to Mozzie Smith, and I missed something here, guys. When you talk about NFL people in the league this year, the defensive tackle class is the thinnest position group. I don't know if you know what I mean here, baby. I know you're typing.
Sorry, I'm making sorry.
No. I want to say
chatting in the chat.
Mozzie Smith right now, not Mozzie Smith. I'm sorry. Off of Mozzie Smith's kind of discussion, a lot of the NFL minds of the and all these teams and the scouts and all that stuff, they believe that the defensive tackle this year, defensive tackle interior there, is the thinnest position group of all the position groups in this draft.
So basically, if you want a defensive tackle, it might behoove you to try and grab one early because there's going to be a drop-off.
And that's why I say you got to look at guys like Keanu, let me put it this way. Mozzie Smith, he could be that mid-second round guy. Then you got to go with, if you want to go defensive tackle, you got 2 guys left after that, maybe. And to me, you got to look at a guy like Keanu Benton. Right now, guys, he's trending to be a top 50 guy because it's so thin. And I've been screaming this guy from Wisconsin for a while. Keanu Benton, violent hands, he's still raw. You leave that up to Dan Quinn and Adam Dirty to fix that stuff. But to me, that guy could be a good second pick there if Mozzie Smith is gone at that second pick. And I do like Siaki Iku, whatever, from Baylor. I think he's a good, big, thick guy that can play there as more of a run stopper only. Keanu Benton can maybe develop into a pass rusher in the future. Mozzie Smith can maybe do that a little sooner as far as a pass rusher. But they all can stop the run. And that's what's important for me to find a guy that can do that in the top 100 picks. Mozzie Smith 1. in the second round, Keanu Benton at the end of the second round, and then Ika in the third round, maybe. He might be gone. So I'm just saying these are the three guys. You can probably get one of them in that day 2. Just trying to throw it in there.
So, and I'm not trying to be... I just can't help it because he said, what position puts us closer to the Super Bowl than we were? You can't draft Luck, so what are we really doing? And I made a joke. I'm like, oh, Andrew Luck would say, what am I, chopped liver? But then Snug is like, not Andrew Luck, just Luck. We can't draft being lucky. And then I'm like, Lucky Whitehead?
She's getting you there. She's got you.
I'm sorry, I had to say it real quick.
That's witty, quick thinking.
Cue Ball throwing this out there just because we're still talking about this real quick. He said, my concern about Darnell Wright, his height makes him prone to knee injuries. Because
they clip him at the bottom. They go for the knees. Although that's illegal, I think, to hit him in the knees like that. I do know what you're saying. That turn and catch, that's always meant from, a little low hit, and there goes his knee because he's so tall, right? He's not so compact. He can kind of take that hit and maybe deflect it a little bit better than his big height. But he's such a big guy. He can run over a cornerback or an edge, or a safety. But these guys...
Maybe we got to send him to one of those deep hurdling classes.
But that's what scares them, though. That's what's going to scare them. A big guy like that, they're going to go for his knees. And I feel that is a fear with Darnell. That's a great point,
basically,
by the way.
just something to keep in mind.
That's a great point. Great point. Second round, Darnell. Third round, Keanu Benton. I'm happy. And we go first round, we go with the offensive lineman. But let me just say this, guys. Again, Keanu Benton is right now starting to look like a top 50 pick. He be picked over Mozzie Smith? I don't think so, but textbook reps, lower leverage, and upper extension. He's showing you he can do this in the run game and pass game. So that's the thing, Keanu Benton. I don't want to forget about him as an option in the later rounds, but he's starting to track and progress upwards, on this draft. And a big response you hear from a lot of scouts about Wisconsin Badger defensive tackle Keanu Benton is that he has more pass rush than they thought when they saw him at the Senior Bowl.
So that's a pleasant surprise.
I'm just saying, this is from a lot of scouts out there, guys. Teams feel like Benton is one of the few interior defensive linemen from this class that could develop into a 3-down starter. I've been saying this about Benton for months, since the Senior Bowl. 3-down guy, which is rare, maybe a little more raw than Mozzie, but he ain't a bad second pick there if you don't get Mozzie Smith. And he's definitely he's going to be a pass rusher, a decent pass rusher in this league with his violent hands, the burst, the speed he has. His feet never stop when he's pass rushing, which is a great trait of a good pass rusher, right? And if you turn on the Iowa-Illinois games that he was in, guys, you see his pass rushing skills are on full display. If you look at Mobile, Alabama, in that Senior Bowl, you can see him standing out. So look at the competition of Indiana, Iowa. Look at what he did to those teams. Look at it in the Senior Bowl, and you can see he's definitely one of the better interior defensive tackles. And I'm going to specifically say nose tackles. Mozzie, Benton, Ika. Those are the three guys that each day, you can look at, first day, second day, one of those guys hopefully will be our pick. But I do think we're going to go in the first round with my favorite pick of all out of this whole group, Darnell Wright from Tennessee, offensive lineman. Yes, offensive lineman because he's a tackle or a left guard. Fantastic right tackle, shitty left tackle, very good left guard. So most of the time...
Interesting. Just saying, it's kind of funny the way you break that down, but yes.
So here's the thing. Let's just break it down for real. Because again, we got to go to the good and bad here with Darnell Wright. He spent most of his time... We know the issues at left tackle. He spent most of his time at right tackle at Tennessee. And if the Cowboys selected him, he would... We kind of know this. We know he's going to transition to guard. Mm-hmm. That's going to be his landing spot with the Cowboys guard. When you hear Darnell Wright, you think he's going to be right tackle? No. He's going to be left guard for the Cowboys. So, if the Cowboys do that, it would be... there is a precedent. I guess you could say there is some precedent to this. There's a track record of this. What do I mean? Zach Martin, Ron O'Leary, Connor Williams, La'el Collins. They all started their careers, guys, at tackle in college. And when they entered the NFL, they eventually moved to guard. So, again, it's like La'el Collins, a little guard.
Yeah, plenty of guys, shift positions, transitioning from college
Tyler
to
Smith,
the NFL.
Another example, right? Was going to go, he was actually a guard and went to tackle in a way. Went tackle in college, started at guard and went back to tackle. So my point is, Darnell Wright, what's his measurables? What's his numbers? He's 6'5", 333 pounds. He has 33 3/4 inch arms. He would be a massive interior guard for the Cowboys. A massive. That left side is going to be set.
I was going to say, that's a brick wall.
Listen to his athletic testing, baby. For an offensive lineman, a 9.98. That's 0.2 away from perfect. Just saying, guys, he's an ideal physical profile that matches the guard position. All right, so any issue, again, I'm going to go about his issues on the left side because he has issues at left tackle. Is that going to be an issue at left guard? Not really. I'll explain why. But listen, he's been called lazy. Although sometimes you see him in some games, he just blows out the best competition. He gets lazy with lesser competition. A lot of people are saying he's lazy. Analysts are saying he's lazy. And he's not. The thing about him, baby, is that he's not a weight room worker. And that can change in the NFL. He better change that ish. But the point is, he's not known to being a big time, weight room ass buster in there, right? He's over there busting ass, working out and all that stuff. He's not there. And he's got one of the more deepest technical abilities when it comes to the ability to block. He has it already in him. He knows what to do. He's got one of the bigger offensive tackle, techniques down already in this entire draft, ready to come into the NFL doing his stuff, technique-wise, a tackle or guard. But if he's lazy, guys, then why is he, again, he's one of the 5 fastest 40s we've seen from any 330-pound guy in the NFL in history. Again, he's one of the fastest, yet he's lazy to run. You know what I'm saying?
Fat bottom offensive lineman make the world go round.
My point is that he is fast. He's a fast bottom. 333 pounds, and he's 6'5", but he is fast. Top 5 scores in the 40 of any 300, not just lineman, any 330-pounder in the history of football. I'm saying, or higher. So he's a top 5. His athletic score is 9.98. Fantastic.
Yeah, I don't usually think of athleticism when I think of a 330-something pound.
Darnell Wright, guys.
Grown person.
He scored a 9.98. He scored a 9. Let me put this. He put a 9.68 on the tackle position, a 9.98 at the guard position. If you compare it to guards or tackles, he's a elite athletic player at the offensive line, an athletically elite offensive right tackle, and probably right behind him at the right guard spot, at the left guard spot. So again, guys, you got to remember, this ranked him 43rd at tackle. Out of 1,293, and probably top 10, or I guess maybe top 5 of all guards in the history of this thing since 1987. So again, when you look at some of the things from him, guys, he's 6'5", 333. His weight for being an offensive lineman, 9.26 at tackle. At guard is even better for him there. His broad jump, 9.76. He's only jumping 10 feet over there. 40-yard dash. In a 20-yard split, guys, he's elite grades across the board here. I think he had a 4.65 in his pro day on running that 40. Crazy numbers. 4.65. I think that was Darnell Wright that had the 4.65. He had a 5.01. Still one of the top 5 for a 330-pounder or higher, top 5 40 run in history. So very athletic, very fast, very mobile. And again, that could be a lot of the pause here for the Cowboys. Will he be able to switch over to that left side because he had troubles at left tackle? But left guard, like we said with Tyler Smith last year, from tackle to guard, it's going to limit some of the errors and holding issues that he had when it came to playing the tackle spot. He was one of the, I would say he tackle was leaving him open for a lot of mistakes, penalties, etc. When you saw him move to guard, you figured in a phone booth kind of setting, because it's closed in from the center and the tackle, he's going to have to commit less reaching and he could commit less penalties. Nonetheless, you see him go to guard, he did a great from guard to tackle. Tyler Smith did a great job. Yeah. In this situation with Wright, he's moving to left. It's the same thing, baby. Going to left tackle would be a problem for him on tape. Going to left guard, it eliminates most of those problems. That's the key here. Right tackle, dominator. If you think.
So really, the Cowboys have not necessarily a swing tackle, but someone that can play right tackle and left guard.
You got an offensive lineman.
Yeah.
Mobile. Like Avila, who can play interior, but this guy can play outside or inside, just not left tackle.
No, I'm just trying to throwing it out there. For example, obviously Tyler Smith plays left tackle and left guard. This guy can play right tackle and left guard. You have
a lot of mix and matches.
Zach Martin, who can technically play more than one position. Yeah. But my point is that
Tyron Smith right now,
you
both
see
corners.
some of that versatility.
Yeah.
But one thing I appreciate is that it doesn't seem like we're purposely bringing him in to be versatile. Does that make sense? We're going to find his spot. We're going to keep him there. But we know that we have the option to move him around,
Right.
you know,
Well,
whether health or other things.
And let me explain one thing here. Listen to this. The worry for the Cowboys is not just that maybe he's lazy, but also transitioning from right side tackle to left side guard. And the reason I'm saying this, it's not just guard. It's not just going from tackle to guard, which he's played, but it's also going from right side to left side. We talked about this. It's hard to flip that. It's very hard.
I mean, look, if the great Tyron Smith struggled with that, you know.
But that's the thing, though. That maybe Darnell Wright has already 559 snaps to his name on the left side of the offensive line. So again, and I'll talk about this in a minute, but he's already has over almost 1,000 snaps to the left side. So it's not like he can't do it. He obviously is able to do that. And so is Snug X dropping that 5 on it.
Much love, Snug. Appreciate you.
Brings Mark to DeMarcus Lawrence, Tank, D-Law. 90 points on that stream, boss, but the man Snug X keeps making a little move forward. What did he say with that 5 on it?
He said, because MCW dropped the exclamation point love.
Boom. The love is always being dropped.
Appreciate that. And yes,
Appreciate
guys,
you,
like
bro.
you said, this is the kind of final point
this is the last
of
point.
the night. So,
Yeah,
you know,
stay
as we start
here,
to get
yeah.
close to wrapping it up,
I'll have one last question as we wrap it up. So I want everybody to give their thoughts, and you can type this out. I'll tell you what. In fact, let me say it afterwards. As we're doing our shutdown, we can read a couple of those comments as well. But the Cowboys worried about going from tackle to guard, worrying from right side to left side as well. But he's played almost 1,000 snaps on the left side of the offensive line. He did not do well at the left tackle spot. That's the issue. He has snaps, but he didn't do well at those left tackle spots. Like on the right side, domination. But the movement patterns that are derived from playing the left side will not be foreign to him on the right side. We know this. And again, he's already played a little bit on the left side, so that he already has some knowledge about how to flip things on the left side. Now, left tackle is going to be a problem. Left guard, not a problem. That's where he's going to be better. So a lot of the issues that he was plagued by, right, like Tyler Smith at the tackle spot, are diminished at the guard position. So again, the lack of range for him suggests that he struggles when he's isolated in space. That's a similar thing we heard from Tyler Smith. So the struggling from Darnell Wright, the biggest struggle is at the left tackle spot specifically when he's in space or isolated. That's where he loses a block. You saw that with Tyler Smith. You saw penalties in his college tape. So Darnell Wright at the left guard is a whole different situation. So he's 21 years old. Again, I just want to say this, guys. Him playing that left guard would playing the guard spot would drop a lot of those issues. Would decrease or maybe take away a lot of those problems, not all those problems, at the left guard spot over left tackle. Please understand that. So Darnell Wright is a value pick. To me, he's the most value pick out of the list I just told you guys. He's the one that will last longest.
No surprise he's been your kind of, favorite for the last handful of weeks as far as who you'd like to see the Cowboys get.
He's 21 years old, which he's matured, right? A little more matured. Joining a formidable offensive line and the left side can take it for years now, a decade of Tyler Smith and Wright here on the other side. I mean, to me, it's a great. You can't go wrong with the trenches on the offensive line. The Cowboys always hit it at the park in the way they use these offenses. I can't doubt it anymore after last year's Tyler Smith. So again, this is not necessarily a chance. This is a guy who's rated up there in the top 20, 25 picks of this draft. It's just some teams a little worried about that left side, left tackle play. We not worried about that. We need him at left guard, and he's still there at right tackle if we don't go with Tyron Smith next year. Terrence Steele. If we move away from Terrence Steele next year, we got our starter on the right side and our left side. So remember that, guys. Again, to me, left side dominance, if you have him with Tyler Smith, if you have him eventually as the right and left side, you got dominance at tackles for 10 years if you wanted to. Knocking on wood, everything goes good, right? So to me, that would set the tone on the offensive line. That's what would help Dak, help the running game, help Mike McCarthy and his West Coast offense. Just being real. Now, discussing this, we're done for now, but who would you want when it comes to the draft pick at the 26th spot? And I go into some names that are more likely because the Cowboys have brought him to the top 30, because these are the names that are truly going to be available when the Cowboys pick at 26. Who would you want? What's your dream pick at 26? What do you think is the likely pick at 26? And which would be a freaking nightmare pick for you guys? You would hate this pick at 26. You can give a position, you give a name, mark it in there, put 3 names down. Dream pick, likely pick, and the pick you freaking hate. Baby, what do you think? What's your kind of likelies and dream pick? Because, of course, you can say one of these guys drop down.
I was going to say, I'm going to be very, very boring here. Or I guess not boring, but I would say that my dream pick is probably just, let's just say, tight end in the first. Okay, so you can put Meyer, You can put
Mayer.
or Mayer. Sorry, I know Washington.
Darnell Washington
Right?
or Kincaid.
Honestly, this one I was just gonna say Darnell. But the point is that
You're saying
I'm just tight end in the first round. Any of those guys, I would be fine with.
Okay.
Kincaid, probably not as much.
I mean, there's better linemen.
He's the hurt one.
There's better linemen out there than Darnell Wright. So again, if that guy that's the interior dominator in this league, in this thing, I can't believe that guy's name because he didn't come to the Cowboys. That would be the dream pick for me.
You see, well, for me, I'm gonna flip it the other way. I think the likely pick is someone like an Avila, I think O-line is very likely here. And yes, even though I don't want it to be true, if somehow Bijan falls to us, I do not see him making it past us. That's all Jerry there.
I agree.
So, I'm not all the discussions.
If we pick Bijan Robinson, it's a Jerry Jones pick. But there's also one last thing. If he's there, someone might want to jump the team behind us to draft him. That could be the good thing.
I would love that.
The guy I would love.
I don't think it's going to happen.
Even though he's smaller than Darnell Wright by 20 pounds, Peter Skronsky, offensive lineman guy, tackle. He's probably the best tackle in there. Maybe the best interior tackle, the best interior player in this draft. So Skronsky is going to probably be drafted in the top 15. He won't get to the Cowboys. That would be a dream pick for me. Center guard. You go in there, and he's the best guy by far. That's what you want there. But again, Darnell Wright's not a bad pick, in my opinion, when it comes to the possibilities.
And I hate to be that person to kind of double up. Because like I said, the Bijan pick, I only think is likely if he somehow makes it there. But, man, would I hate that pick. I can't think of another pick that would upset me as much in a situation like that. Because to me, it's going to be 2 or 3 guys that we've already mentioned extensively here that if the Cowboys stay at 26, like I said, for the most part, I can't see anyone that the Cowboys seem to be interested in and me not being happy about it. Like if somehow they grab one of the receivers that fall, you know what I mean? So any situation where they get someone outside of that general list that we've talked about these last few weeks is going to be a guy that fell down.
Well, in that sense.
So, to me, if Bijan makes it to 26 and we get him, I would hate that. That's my hate pick.
I also am kind of agreeing with you with the hate pick. Not that it's not about Bijan. It's more about the wasting of the running back spot. You get other running backs to go for it. Again, the only saving grace you can say at this point if we drafted Bijan is that the Cowboys are going to use this guy for 5 years and let him go. He's still going to have the 7th highest salary of every running back in the NFL. So again, that's one. I don't like that move. I think you get another running back later, and you can get. Listen, you don't have to get a generational running back, in my opinion. You just need a good running back, and a couple of them. And we got one already, Tony Pollard. Even if he's gone next year, you're still going to have a couple guys here, and you can draft a guy in the 3rd round. It's going to give you starter potential. So that's why I don't like that pick. But I will say this too, though, baby. I would not like a couple of receivers, specifically Quentin Johnson, and I apologize to QJ, Q Ball in the chat.
Yeah, no association with Q Ball.
No, but Quentin Johnson is not. He's slow. He's lanky, and he's not gonna. He's just a guy I want to see picked off the board. I don't want the Cowboys even think about him. I'm not crazy about Zay Flowers and some of these other guys at receiver in the 1st round. So again, to me, the running back receiver, I'd rather go tight end than either of those positions, unless JSN is on there. And if he's on there, we're drafting him over everybody.
See, in my mind,
that's a dream pick, by the way. JSN.
The 1st round receiver has a chance of contributing a little bit more, or at least becoming future trade bait if he plays. You know what I'm trying to say?
Increases somebody else.
We have a few more options there, and the odds that he'll at least make it to that 5th-year option are much higher.
The good thing about Bijan being in that available at 26 is there's trade possibilities. So that's why I kind of want Bijan there, but I also don't want to draft him. And Jerry will try to do it unless he's smart and trades down, and we get some bang for our buck there. Now, the likely pick, I think, my dream pick would be like a JSN or Skronsky. All right, these guys are not falling down. Likely pick to me.
She's playing with her football.
She knows we're talking football. Little Ash over there playing football back there. So, but I think that the likely pick is going to fall more on the Darnell Wright, Steve Avila, kind of mindset. I guess you could throw Darnell Washington maybe, but I just don't see that happening. Mayer maybe.
So we're both on the same page as far as we think O-line is the likeliest pick for the Cowboys.
I think Darnell Wright's the pick. Avila is all you said. Avila. I think those are the most probable picks. The dream pick would be that top receiver, or again, I said, what was the other dream pick? Skronsky, the best interior lineman, guard, center. But the hate pick, outside of Bijan Robinson, wouldn't it be the worst thing if he was there? We can trade. Again, if he was drafted, I would hate it. I would hate Dalton Kincaid there. I talked about Quentin Johnson. But to me, it's more about a defensive player. I know I don't want to say, and Mozzie Smith I would like, but I know the Cowboys aren't going to grab him there. To me, it's about getting, if they get Will McDonald in there.
It's like other players are a bit of a reach, but these players are too much of a reach.
He would be a reach, and he'd be our 6th defensive edge rusher. Like, I don't want my first round pick being the 6th defensive edge rusher. We got Sam Williams last year, 2nd round edge rusher. We got Micah Parsons here, the other side edge. I'm just saying, like, to me, that's an overkill with the first round. That would be a disappointment with Will McDonald.
The equivalent of spending your first round pick on a QB right at this moment. You know what I mean? He's not going to play.
He's
Dak
great.
Prescott's the starter.
Dan Quinn loves him, but we have this thing set up for offensive draft, and we just talked about McCarthy. 10 of his 12 picks when he was in charge of the draft were offense. Case closed. So
now, real quick,
I want to go ahead.
Start hitting up the chat. So Bruce got the toxic juice. Said his dream pick, Darnell Wright, who though likely pick Avila.
And remember, Wright might be there, though, available, too.
And he said the nightmare pick would be long snapper for my TT Tech.
How about Moody, kicker from Michigan?
Stop it. Scorpio and I already said
You guys said that?
Scorpio
That's
said
your dream pick?
Scorpio and I said it earlier when we were talking about other stuff. Because he was saying, like, basically the two biggest needs are, like, tight end and kicker right now. And I said, I'm like, hey, Moody is still an option here.
Yeah, but in the 5th, 6th, or 7th round, or undrafted.
No. First round, Moody, lock it in.
No way.
Go Cowboys. Anyway,
defense
Q-Ball is saying
offense.
that the numbers and measurements and IQ, that's how I evaluate players. So Snug X throwing out there that his dream pick is actually Quentin Johnson.
Who said this? Who said this? Snug?
Snug X.
Sorry, I cannot agree with that.
I literally assumed, like, he's like, FCF is hated. So, because you obviously hadn't read the chat yet. You just started saying what you said. And I hadn't read his comment either. So, Tyler, what's up? Much love.
Sorry, Snug. I've seen too much footage of him. He's not a first rounder to me.
Frame Rippers, a.k.a. Voodoo. He said Johnson needs a QB that's accurate and that can throw him open. He would be a bad fit here.
I think he's also not. You're blaming the quarterback. I'm blaming the scheme. I think he's a bad fit for West Coast offense. We got a Michael Gallup.
Okay, how about this? Whether it's a scheme, whether it's a quarterback, the point is that maybe he's not the best.
He's not the guy here, and I don't think it's the quarterback.
The consensus, at least.
I think it's the scheme.
Now, Lost in Translation said, I kept getting Avila at 58 consistently.
58, right? So that's what I'm saying. That's
so basically, Avila is not worth trying to maybe grab in that first round.
Him and Mozzie are not worth it unless you trade back. Those are trade back guys. To me, you take Darnell Wright.
Voodoo throwing out there, though, trade down to who? The Chiefs? Because trading out of the first round is not a good idea.
No, and again, it depends on what's there, what's available. But I think it could be good, could be bad. The Cowboys love it, so they trade back 3 or 4 spots. You can get a 4th round pick.
I
love that because there's a lot of 4th rounders we like. So you get that 4th round pick, and then you get a tight end or running back at that pick, that bonus pick, and then you're still getting Mozzie, or you're getting Avila or Darnell Wright.
I don't need woke cowboy mobs after me for this, but guys,
here we go. We'll cover my ears.
No, it's okay. I need your assistance with this one.
Hit me.
If we somehow get Bijan at 26 in the sense of he's available, and we're trying to use him as trade down bait, what if we traded down with the Eagles?
Well, that'd be second round.
Someone in the chat had already mentioned because they have 2 first-round picks.
The 10th pick, and I guess they do have a later. That's true. The Eagles would want to trade up for us.
Since they have 2 first-round picks, if Bijan is still there, that could be something that happens, and then we still get the benefits of keeping all the benefits of a first-round pick. Now, mind you, that probably does mean we won't get, quote-unquote, as much, because if we're just trading first-round picks...
It'll be a 4th rounder.
Exactly.
Is what it's gonna come down to.
But that I would be fine with that, I think, personally. Just throwing that out there. That's something we hadn't even begun to consider.
Very good. Yeah, no,
I see now,
do
LT,
like that.
Lost in Translation, said defensive tackle at 26 would be beautiful because our defense would be 100% set. Tyler's throwing out there, I just want the best offensive lineman we can get.
Let me go back, though. Defensive tackle. You get somebody just as good without reaching at 58. So to me, Mozzie could be there. Keanu Benton should be there. Ika will be there at that 2nd pick. So you want to go that, you don't have to get that 1st pick just to pick an overreach. I'd rather go offensive lineman. Going to the other comment, you're getting the by far best offensive lineman because he's got the left tackle issues. It's the one thing we don't care about right now. The left tackle issues is right now not the biggest deal for us, like it is for every other team in the NFL. So he's dropped because of that. But that's cool for us because we need him at right tackle or left guard. We got him across the board there. So that's the key, in my opinion, there. So. And I'm looking at the picks here.
So, no, and again, I think all of you guys bring up
Eagles pick
some
at 10.
very good points. But yeah, I thought they'd... And
they pick at 30.
There you go.
So, again, if we
from 26 to 30 with a
4th
round pick or something, I mean... I would do it just
because we would be helping them get them. We would help them get Bijan Robinson, which I know we don't mind, but he'd be hurting us in the future. He will still be good. Don't get me wrong on this. We'll be helping the Eagles like the way we helped the Giants hurt the Eagles with the Micah Parsons trade back.
I'm like, I don't mind, because basically every time we quote unquote help one of these other teams, it comes
back to help us.
It's like, I don't know, it's like a poison candy or something. Like it ends up
hurting
them.
Oh yeah.
More than it hurts us. Like, it might hurt us a little bit, but it hurts them a lot. I think Bijan might hurt us a little bit, but it's gonna hurt them a lot.
With the Jalen Hurts contract, that means Bijan will probably just be a 5 years and be the 7th highest paid running back for 5 years. And he'll be a free agent after his 5th year with the Eagles. And
also just kind of throwing it out there too, it makes sense now that they've locked in Hurts, that they would get him not just like maybe some receiver help or whatever, but a complimentary running back that can obviously play a Zeke-like role the same way that Zeke has for Dak.
They want him at running back. My only question is, would there be those 5 teams in between Dallas and the Eagles? Any of those 4 teams in between, would they want to, draft Bijan Robinson, or would that not, are they not going to... Nothing?
Not you.
She didn't... Is that her licking, I hope?
Yes.
Okay. So anyways, the point is... Sorry, guys. That sounds really weird. The dog's licking the couch. That's why. But it's not the wife licking. So the point is that Bijan Robinson, to me... I don't know. Bijan Robinson, guys... would help the Eagles, I think, a lot in the first couple of years, and then would be a guy they just let go of, but it fits their game plan for this 5-year window. I also don't want to be the team helping them, but I also got to see, are the Chiefs going to draft them? The teams in between, not the Chiefs, but the teams in between the Eagles and the Cowboys, are they even interested in the running back or need? If they are, then the Eagles might want to make that trade. The Cowboys have control of what to do with Bijan Robinson at that point. So either you draft them or you trade him to someone not called the Eagles. I don't know. We'll see what happens. But I would love to see a couple more of these dream picks here in a minute. I know the wife's going to hit the chat up. Guys, as always, you know how to do this. We're rocking out of here now, an hour and a half. I thought it'd be a lot longer, but we got through the info speedy, intelligently, efficiently, and we appreciate you guys rolling with us here. Let me remind everybody, the sponsor of the week, the man, SnugX. I ain't hating. I'm just saying the truth about QJ over there, the receiver QJ, not our family member here, QJ. Sponsor of the week, SnugX. In second place on the overall board, the king of the Cash App is SnugX as well. Much love to him. Marco Seppian, 90 points in the stream boss. First place on the overall board. It is just, it's the crew here hanging with you and me. So thank you guys on that side. And how do you can help out the channel? Because we don't have the memberships or super chats as of now. Hopefully early May it'll be back. Hopefully. We can have emojis, we can have memberships and all that stuff going, super chats. But there's 4 ways to help the channel right now.
Yes. Through the Cash App,
dollar
money
sign,
MyCowboysFamily, which, by the way, I think that's still...
Yeah, it's actually empty. There's nobody in the Cash App. There's no king this week so far, and we're halfway through it.
Or Venmo as well, at my-Cowboys-Family.
Venmo also counts as the quote-unquote Cash App king money. Yeah, just things. So
it's all included there. The PayPal, of course, and... last but certainly not least, you've been seeing it throughout the night here with that Streamlabs link. Thank you so much to Skeptical, Mark, Snug, all of you guys for dropping the love. And Mark is heading into the end of the stream there with 90 points. Representing some DeMarcus Lawrence, one of his favorite players, I know.
So any last comments on dream picks, likely picks, and hate pick here?
You see, so again, Frame Rippers Voodoo agreeing with everything we said about Bijan, said running backs are only good for about 5 years.
Exactly.
Emmitt Smith and Barry Sanders were exceptions, not the norm.
Correct.
You're supposed to draft the running backs, wear them out, and then toss them out.
And you could, but I don't want to. I agree with that. But you want to get that running back in the 3rd, 4th, 5th round, not the 1st round. That's not what you waste picks, right? That's why I think.
Yeah, I think maybe in years past the running back could have lasted 5 years. Although I feel like
that's what I'm saying.
It kind of depends nowadays.
Well, during
you're kind of seeing them tap out around the year 3 mark as far as like where they take a dive on effectiveness, efficiency. Like obviously that last year or 2, they usually do something. But you start to notice a lot of that wear and tear. Yeah,
and that's the thing. I think that you want to use a Zach Evans or a Charbonnet or one of these guys that you can dispose. I don't want to say it sounds so horrible, but you can get rid of them after 4 full years, or if they have some tread on the tire because we have Pollard this year, you might be able to get an extra couple years.
Draft command, right?
We don't have. I don't think we do we? No, I don't think so.
I don't think so. But that's a good point. So Bruce, we'll have to. I'll make a little mental note there to add that in there.
For what?
Exclamation point draft. So
that would show what? That would show what would we
like? Well, for now, I would say just some basic info on the draft, and then on the day of the draft, I'll have to update it.
Well, I'm gonna see that bar at the bottom,
else.
stream going around there, the last bottom, all the way at the bottom there, underneath the sponsor of the week. I'm gonna flip that over on draft day to all the picks, so you can see it as each name goes up. I'm gonna add the name in that what's that called? That bar. I don't know what you call it. I don't know what you call it, the ticker or whatever.
Banner?
Yeah, the banner, the ticker. I'm going to update that every round so you guys can keep following here. How many people will be not able to see the TV or whatever. We'll keep you up to date as we get all the way up to the Cowboys at 26. It'll be a long night, so stay tuned here. We're going to talk all the good stuff, news and updates on what's going on live, talking about who the Cowboys picked at 26 and, get through the whole draft in that first round, second round, third round, day 2, and, of course, day 3, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th round. We'll be here for the whole draft. You want to join us for that.
So let me go ahead. Do some shout outs here in the chat as we start to wrap things up. Again, shout out once again to the sponsor of the week and the Cash App King SnugX.
Yes.
But real quick, we have Scorpio. Have a great night. Hopefully the Dallas Cowboys select. I mean, like I said, there's very few ways that it can go wrong for us in the first round in a major
Leave it up to Jerry Jones.
Right? It might not be my favorite pick, but I don't think it's going to be like the worst pick ever. So, Brandon James Shea, much love to you. Have a great night.
Much love, Brandon. By the way, there's only a couple bad picks, I think, that you really can say are bad picks. And I'm not saying even Bijan Robinson's a bad pick as a player. It's a bad pick because of the position, I think, is the bigger issue there. I just want to clear that.
So, Frame Rippers, much love, a.k.a. Voodoo Alpha. Bruce got the Toxic Juice. Have a great night. We have Lost in Translation. Take it easy. Snug X, of course, you know why he's here.
He's the champion.
We have Scorpio representing, much love. So he, by the way, said I'd pick an O-line player that can play any spot on the O-line.
And Avila can go. Avila can go in. He played 4 to 5 spots, and he's very good interior, right? And you got Terrence. I'm sorry, not Terrence, but I say Osiris. Terrence Osiris Terrence, who is not on my radar anymore. But you look at someone like him. To me, he's a guy that not Avila, but Darnell Wright is a guy that can play the tackle spot and also just be a dominant offensive line player. He's played both sides of the ball, but to me, left guard, he can do that too. So that would be a solidifying piece to this offensive line. To me, Darnell Wright, number 1, Steve Avila would be number 2, a little bit more of a reach pick for Avila, in my opinion. But there's people that know more. And the Cowboys, these guys, that front office, they know what they're going to do. Yeah. They already got their mindset on who they really, truly want.
So Tyler, have a great night. Q Ball, much love.
Yeah.
We have, I want to make sure I don't miss anyone. Beast Mode representing. Let me see. Who else is here? Drums and Cowboys. Take it easy. Have a great night. Uncle Charles, much love your way.
Yes. We're thinking about it. You and yours.
We have Skeptical Fan, of course, always staying skeptical. Kevin213, have a great night. Madman in the house. Burn Bar, of course, dropping that flute. Representation, right? Mary Alvarez, thank you for joining us here. Have a great night.
Mary,
so everyone
Mary.
Here, thank you guys for hanging with us. But why do we do?
It's obvious. It's obvious why we do what we do. Baby, it's about that navy blue. Silver too, right there. And of course, right there. Star over everything here on My Cowboys Family. Win, lose, or draw, good, bad, or ugly. We're always rocking it on the nightly, repping that star over everything. And here on this channel, almost 6 years and beyond. Never forget the number one thing here, now, and forever. Right here on this channel on YouTube. Here on My Cowboys Family. Never forget the number one thing here, now, and forever. As always, say it loud, say it proud, say it with us. Go Cowboys! Let's get that 6 and beyond. Thank you all for dropping the knowledge in that chat all night long. Scorpio here, much love. Appreciate you, everybody. Can't do this without you guys dropping your knowledge. Also, truly humbled by your love. Your drops of love from above. You know who you are. Skeptical Fan, Mark Hovsepian, and Snug X running the show. Once again, thank you guys. Truly from the bottom of our hearts. Much love to Voodoo Alpha, Frame Rippers, who got that computer on the way to us. Appreciate that, man. And we are setting up the wife's gaming, baking channel combination. It's coming soon, so stay tuned. Thank you guys on that. Now it is time to clock out and drop out for the night. Before we can do that, without our theme song ending, we're going to do our own little ending. And you know, baby, before we can drop out, clock out, start, get back here tomorrow, Fan Friday, maybe Saturday, we'll see. One of the next 2 days, we'll definitely be back. Probably tomorrow, we'll talk about it. But never forget here, before we can drop out for the night, what do we got to do, baby? Let them know. What do we got to do if we get on out of here and drop out of here for the night?
We got to drop the beat.
Dun, 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 dun. Thank you guys once again. Another Cowboys chat here at MCFs and MCWs. A little discussion on our Cowboys. Can't do this without you all. We'll see you back tomorrow for another one. Much love. Appreciate everyone in the house. And as always, never forget, Go Cowboys!